Hello, and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 17th of November 2013. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Robert Kemp.
Octopuses!
Robert Kemp's brother, Richard Kemp.
Squidward.
And Zachary Burgess.
Sorry, I had to cough. As soon as I started talking, it was like, oh shit.
Precise. So we have an extra hand this week in the form of
For some reason.
Indeed. I think he felt the need to join.
Oh yeah, he actually commented on the last cast and stuff, saying, "Well, you need me on the cast."
Okay, good.
Oh,
I was going to comment on the last cast to point out your spelling error, but then you fixed it, so it was okay.
I made a spelling. Oh yeah, I did make a spelling error. Yeah, I remember.
What was the spelling problem?
You missed a word.
Yeah, I was like,
so it didn't make any sense.
So I said I'm not going to say anything clever this time, but except I actually said I'm going to say anything clever.
Oh, brilliant.
So the tweet is kind of fucked.
Great.
Well, that's what Twitter's all about, really.
Miss a word here and there.
Exactly.
Hope the world doesn't care.
It's more efficient.
Rhymes, therefore it's true.
If you don't need the word to actually pass the sentence, then why bother with it on Twitter, given you're
Exactly.
limited in characters?
He also seemed keen, I think, on correcting me on a number of points. So this may be a very an interesting corrections column episode.
Oh dear, are we going to start with the corrections column?
Well, I know one thing I got wrong.
What have we got wrong?
The Titanfall stuff that I talked about last time. It was all out of date 2 days before we recorded it.
Right.
Oh no.
Because 2 days before we talked about the PC release date for Titanfall, they said it will be at the same time as the Xbox One version.
Day and date. Woo! That's awesome news. Oh, brilliant. That's not that long, is it? That's like, when is it? March. Jeez. It's not even that far
That
into
is
next
that
year.
long.
So it's a reasonable amount of time.
It's only like 3 months.
4 months.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I'm just saying, it might be delayed still, but that's not long, really. That really plays to Xbox One's kind of advantage there. The sooner that comes down, gets in, the better for them, really, I think.
Faux show. Because who doesn't like a nice flashy exclusive?
Exactly.
High hype exclusive.
Sort of exclusive, except for the PC Gaming Master Race have the ability to play it in ridiculous vision with like insane resolutions and stuff.
Master Race. Probably not actually that much different. Because that's the whole point of this. It's the whole point of getting a new console. It's not meant to be any different from the PCs at this point.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it will be 1080p on them and 60 frames per second, I expect. On
It's
Xbox One.
720p supposedly.
Really? Oh, see, there you go.
Okay then.
There you go. That's
A
that.
little disappointing.
It's not proved though. That's just what the rumors say.
Right. Well, it seems like for quite a few of the launch titles, like on PS4, they've come out as 900p or whatever, and then they've been patched to 1080p.
Yeah, like Assassin's Creed, there's a patch due to upscale it, and I think that happened with COD as well.
But it's not upscaling; it is actually.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Bad word.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Although, and COD, I guess, but COD still runs at 720 on the Xbox, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? That's really weird.
I think Battlefield 4 runs at 900
Right.
on the
okay.
Xbox and 1080 on PS4.
On PS4.
No, it's 900 on PlayStation and 720 on Xbox.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, is that it?
I knew there was some difference.
None
Yeah.
of them can run the Battlefield 4 at 1080. Oh,
Not
that's a bit
yet.
depressing, isn't it? Oh well, never mind.
It does cement that perhaps they either haven't figured out, well, don't forget, we're still launch window, so, they either haven't figured out what the hardware is capable of yet, or they're having some difficulty toying with it, or...
Well, supposedly the Xbox tools that they used to make the games weren't anywhere near as far along as the PlayStation ones.
Well, that's weird.
Which, again, is weird, yeah, because if it's, like, PC-based, you'd think they'd just be using the same tools they do for PC stuff. Surely.
I thought
It's
those
because of
guys
all the
were
ES RAM stuff that they're doing in the Xbox
ahead.
compared to
Right.
the PlayStation that doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, that
That
does
is
make it harder.
But that is a trick that they should know from the previous gen, because the last stuff had a very similar fast RAM thing close to the chips. Like a tiny quantity of super fast memory. That did exist before. I don't think that existed on PS3, but...
On 360.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's all new architecture, so I'm sure they'll get the grips with it before long.
Sure. Although there have been developers that have been coming out quoting that if you were to put it on raw horsepower alone, that they reckon the PS4 has got 50% on the Xbox.
Well, they're only talking about... That can't mean, like, in general. I think they must mean specifically, like, graphics, memory, bandwidth.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't think they were specific in the quotes I've seen, but it's
I think they're pretty much on.
That's still a crazy high number, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, 50% is a lot. But it's borne out already, isn't it? If you look at the Digital Foundry saying, "Yep, the PS4 version is definitely higher res," and
they put a lot of nice screenshots out that compared the difference. And to be honest, on a lot of games, it's not actually that noticeable.
No, probably not.
In some weird way. I mean, normally the jump from 720 to 1080 is quite pronounced, but for some reason I found the jump from 720 to 900 at least isn't so bad, as proven by Battlefield 4 screenshots. It's actually kind of difficult to spot. Yeah,
what the difference is there. Yeah.
I
guess it really. I mean, it was interesting seeing the Battlefield 4. I don't know what I was. Oh, I know. No, I was looking at that ridiculous new graphics card that Radeon have come out with, and they were showing screenshots of that in 2560 by 1440 or whatever. And it was hilarious because it had a little magnifying glass, and you could see the detail. So you on the, it was quite nicely put together. I find those pages don't always load perfectly, but the Digital Foundry have some quite good bits where you can you can page over the image and it shows you at the different qualities, and you can kind of zoom into just a part of it and see the difference, like looking at a blade of grass or something in this giant image. It's kind of an interesting way of looking at it.
I always quite liked their rollover things they did for quality levels in games. So it's this is what happens if you turn this option on, and you're like, very little.
Okay. Yeah, not much. Or actually, that does make a difference. Yeah.
That's the weird thing with modern graphic settings, I guess, isn't it? Because a lot of them are if you take them on their own, they don't actually make much difference. But it's kind of the cumulative effect of all the new fancy stuff that kind of makes the overall picture noticeably better. It's kind of it's kind of weird. I'll talk more a bit like that later. But
cool. Okay.
I have a working example I've been toying with, but but it's So anyway, PS4's out.
Yeah, news
in America.
PS4's out in America, and when's that out in Britain? Next week?
2 weeks.
Okay.
So 29th.
29th.
What's the news for the launch? I see that they sold 1 million on the first day, which is the most ever, of course. Or the most ever for a console, which surprises me. You'd think that the 3DS or something would be like a full-blown console in terms of day one sales, maybe. Don't know, maybe not.
I think the 3DS sold crap because everyone knew it was not a good deal at launch.
Okay, well, I mean the Wii or the DS or something. I guess the Wii couldn't sell 1 million on launch because they just
they didn't have enough of them.
Yeah, I guess that probably would have won one. Would have win one.
Yeah, it would win one.
I think everyone's learnt about the supply chain problem.
Yeah,
because everyone had it to some degree last time.
If I order an Xbox One now, I won't be able to get it for Christmas. Apparently.
No, that's true.
So but I guess it's just the way they need to ramp up the production so that when the initial lull dies out, they won't have too much capacity. I guess.
Well, Michael Pachter predicts that they're currently manufacturing about 1 million a month.
Right. Okay.
So the fact that they've put 1 million out probably means that there's another 1 million in stockpile somewhere that's about to get shipped, and that will probably continue until March, and then they'll start ramping down.
Yep.
I think Sony came out and said they expect to sell 5 million by the end of March, so that kind of ties up somewhat.
Yeah.
With those figures, so Sony are expecting to sell out for the next 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Which
it doesn't even launch.
It's probably doable
for quite a while, does it? When does it come out?
February. It launches in Japan, I think. So.
Jeez. Those poor Japanese people, given that it's supposed to be the land of awesome games and stuff, and it's their own company. I don't really get that, really. There you go.
Well, not many of the games that... Well, I don't think I can't really actually think of a game that's been released on PS4 that is Japanese developed. Apart from...
Well, unless it's like a purely Japanese game that we wouldn't even know about.
Well, true. There are those.
Well, apparently not for the PS4, at least not until February.
Yeah. Well, there's been no obvious news on them anyway, because sometimes that stuff filters through, doesn't it? That, hey, Japan's getting this crazy shit game.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame, really. It kind of does mark the serious decline of Japanese development stuff. I mean,
it's kind of weird because
stuff, but
it's because in a weird way, like whenever you see a Japanese game, I don't know if it's just my perception of it, but it always looks exactly how a Japanese game probably would have been 2 generations ago.
Yeah, it's
true. Like the way things are laid out, the way you move around the system, just even menus and stuff like that. It's all just the same.
I
don't know if they're really innovating anymore, but they are. But they're probably innovating in incredibly dumb ways that no one would care about over here.
I think you're probably going to have an awesome time with it and stuff, and it's going to be great. But I saw the trailer I saw some footage of the Dragon game, Crimson Dragon. What is it?
Mm.
Yeah, and it did. That did strike me really badly. Like that, it looked like the Panzer Dragoon from like. I mean, it looked, graphically a lot better, but it just looked the same, really.
It's because it is. And I don't care.
I know. But it stands to, goes with your point, doesn't it? That things haven't really moved on.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like, don't get me wrong, Capcom and Konami are still probably on top of it there, You could argue that Square's stuff hasn't exactly been innovative for a while, apart from the stuff they, use IDOS for.
Yeah, they seem to be turning into a... Well, they put a lot of emphasis on, the Western teams that they've acquired, like the IDOS team, and also the all the Canadian developers like the Deus Ex guys and stuff. They're in Square, aren't they?
Well, it's strange because actually, the more I think about it, a lot of the Japanese titles that have done well for themselves are the ones that Capcom and Konami have westernized.
So you mean like Devil May Cry or?
Devil May Cry, yeah, fantastic example. They westernized it, and it's a fantastic product.
Made in Cambridge,
and it's sold really well. Yeah, made in Cambridge. And then there's, I guess, the Resident Evil series has been consistently more Western each iteration.
Yeah, but it got shittier.
Well, it got shitty.
Is getting shit. That is
it got shit, but they are westernizing it in a weird way. Dead Rising has always been fairly Western, and that's Capcom. But
that's true. I suppose, yeah.
I don't know. I guess Street Fighter is the exception, maybe, to this rule. Because that's still Street Fighter.
Yeah. That would be the exception.
But then that hasn't innovated. It's like, no.
I can't win. So any other PS4 news? Probably quite a bit of little things.
Well, I've watched quite a lot. As we should say at this point, none of us have one, but we've been sort of saying.
We can't.
I've watched.
It's not out. At least in Britain.
Well, no, true. So we haven't got hands on, but from what we've been seeing, that menu actually looks okay. I was a bit worried about it being a bit of a clutter, and some people are still worried that it would become a clutter once you've got a lot of applications and a lot of games under your belt. But as it stands at launch, it's pretty clean. It's pretty neat, actually. It's very fast.
Yeah.
And it sort of solves the problem I think everyone had with cross-media bar, and that it's kind of awkward to find things unless you know where you're going. In which, if you know where you're going, it's fantastic. But if you don't, it's really kind of tricky to figure out or navigate through. And it also solves the problem that the Xbox has, and that it doesn't really put your content first. This does. The home screen, the first thing it shows you is just a list of everything you have ordered, I think, by recent usage.
Perfect.
So it's just right there. There's been reports that games like this partial installation thing that they've been doing, it is actually exactly what it says on the tin. I think you can, if you've got the disc version of Need for Speed Rivals, you can be playing some form of it within a minute.
Nice.
Of the install starting. So admittedly you'll be playing limited content until it installs the rest of it, but you're playing something within a minute while the game installs in the background, and that's cool.
I've seen some people bashing I don't know if you've seen these, bashing some screenshots they took of Call of Duty Ghosts and saying this looks really shit. But in fact, they'd been playing it for like 10 minutes and it was still actually installing the high-res textures. If they just waited 5 minutes,
then it would look a lot better.
Yeah.
Weird. I think we'll see a lot of that because obviously, this is a much touted feature that Sony are going to and Microsoft are going to want people to implement.
And then Namco are going to come and sue them.
Yeah.
Can't play the game while loading.
Yeah, exactly. They still have that Space Invaders patent. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Galaxian patent, sorry. Yeah.
Well, some of the patents have started expiring, haven't they? Like the D-pad stuff. So maybe that one will expire.
Well, I don't know. It's quite a long time from NES to Ridge Racer.
That's true. That's true.
So there's probably a good 5 years at least on that. Probably another 8 by my guess. Was it 93 Ridge Racer? Something like that.
I think it was 90. I think it was for Ridge Racer they got that patent then. I guess that's the first time we saw it.
Yeah, it would have. Well, for the home console version of Ridge Racer, it would have been.
Right.
So,
okay.
Whenever the PS1 launched, that's when it will be.
Right.
95 then, probably.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Something around then. So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they'll act on that. I mean, if we got to a point where it's just like, who cares?
Don't they even remember that they have that patent?
They did act on it once, I think. I can't remember what for, but I have a memory that I think Namco actually acted on that once.
Yeah, I think that was a lot closer to the time, though.
Yeah. But does it count because it's not loading per se?
Depends what the wording of the ridiculous patent is.
Yeah. That's awkward.
Probably doesn't count, I would say.
So yeah, overall system seems okay. The lack of DLNA based support is annoying people, obviously, as we thought it would. And I guess the
hardware failures, right? I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, that's inevitable. The red line,
the biggest.
Death, right?
Well, the biggest. That's not the biggest gripe actually. The biggest problem at the moment that they're suffering is faulty HDMI ports.
Oh, really? Oh.
Quite a large number of boxes that have reached the reviewers have had faults. It's quite a lot of the major ones like IGN have reported problems, Joystick have reported problems, a couple of others that I can't remember off the top. Yeah, that's it. A couple of others that I can't remember off the top of my head. They've all received a dodgy PS4, and that suggests that the ratio must be reasonably high.
Depends whether the reviews were getting like the very first ones off the line or something.
Yeah, I mean it's a tiny sample set in theory, so it could be wildly inaccurate. But
been bricks as well though, not just HDMI problems.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of crashes and things as well going on.
Oh really?
Battlefield 4 is apparently abysmal. It keeps crashing.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's
Battlefield 4 crashes on PC all the time.
Yeah,
so.
that's not PS4 specific. That's just that game isn't operational really at the moment.
Killzone's had problems as well with crashing, I've heard.
No, really?
It's probably just a game though, I would say.
Oh, and the Twitch app crashes a lot as well from what I've seen.
Oh.
And I've seen lockup. I've seen a lot of people streaming it this week, and I've seen lockups, I've seen all sorts of stuff, crashes, all kinds of crazy shit.
So
there's a weird problem. I was watching a Giant
right
Bomb stream yesterday, I think it was.
Oh, I saw that one. Was that where it said, "Oh, reset your PS3 because your PS4 because the database is corrupted"?
Oh, that was on Battlefield, wasn't it?
And then it continued to work fine. They just added a guest or something, and it was like, "Oh, yeah, the database is corrupted. Restart the PS4." And then
Battlefield 4 save data got corrupted as well. They were playing the campaign, and then they went and did something else, and then they came back to it, and the save data was corrupt.
Right.
And the other thing was they were showing off like the Twitch streaming and the Ustream and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they stopped broadcasting, but the overlay was still there, and they couldn't get rid of it.
Oh wow! Okay, that's kind of crappy.
Yeah, and they obviously couldn't rebroadcast because it thought it was still broadcasting. So they had to restart it.
Deary.
So, not coming across as particularly stable right now.
Well, I'm sure it's fine if you get a decent game and play it or whatever. But some of this stuff, yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah, a lot of that is OS-based stuff, isn't it? Or stuff that's core system stuff. Yeah, the Battlefield 4 stuff. Yeah, I can probably put that down to Battlefield 4 being dodgy in general. then maybe Killzone, launch game. Maybe they're all sort of thinking, it's a launch game. People are going to forgive us. We'll patch everything anyway because we can.
I guess the Twitch stuff, like they might not even have known they had Twitch until more recent than a lot of the OS stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, that would have been late for Sony because do you remember, like they were pushing the Ustream stuff first, and then Microsoft said, "Well, we've got Twitch," and they're like, "Oh shit."
Remember, they just went and got Twitch as
well.
Which is like, what sort of deal did Microsoft have? They just got screwed.
Obviously not an exclusivity deal.
No.
Well, probably the reason they chose Ustream is because it's really popular in Japan, apparently. Supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, it will work in their favour in February, but right now it makes no sense. So you're right, Dan. It will be that they got it late.
Maybe their Twitch client isn't like the newest code, or isn't.
Well, the real question is whether Twitch can even handle this at all, because Twitch has a tendency to just like bog down really badly if there's any large number, like big event going on.
Yeah, that's a good question. If they like, how many people are actually now? How many more people are going to be pushing to it, and making it crumble?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of reason why. I mean, Twitch aren't brilliant with their, how big their server cluster is, I suppose. That's why they do things like, oh yeah, we can't store every video ever made. We're not Google.
Right, yeah. Well, I suppose as they get more popular, they'll be able to make more moolah out of wherever they put their adverts. Where did they put their adverts?
I don't know. Did they? Where?
At the start of the video.
I guess AdBlock sorts that out. I've never noticed them.
Yeah, as usual.
The power of AdBlock.
I do get annoyed. Like, it's really confusing sometimes when I go to a website and AdBlock, or something has changed on that website and AdBlock doesn't know about it, or for some reason, and all of a sudden I get filled with adverts, and it's just like
what?
Oh god, is this what the internet has actually become?
I know. Yeah, I don't think I will ever be able to cope with the real internet. It's gonna because probably at some point, like I thought I heard a rumor that Google were considering taking extensions out of Chrome or something, and it's like, well,
oh wow, that would be bad.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah. I mean, I'd probably flip over to Firefox or something if that happened, but even so.
You guys are giant pansies. There's nothing wrong with virtually every site that I go to, ever.
Oh, Game Traders is real bad.
Well, apart from... the only ones that annoy me are the video websites where they only have basically one video that plays at the start of every video.
Yes, no, that is
the
super
same
annoying.
Video over and over again.
Well, this is the thing. I use Last.fm quite a lot. To stream music and for it to make recommendations to me. And I didn't realise it because AdBlock does such a good job most of the time of getting rid of it. But there's an advert, a video advert, that's the same video advert, but it plays like every 2 songs. And it's like, I never noticed this before because AdBlock deals with it.
Right.
And it's like, oh god, this is actually terrible.
Dear me. Anyway.
So yeah. Sorry to the industry, I'm not giving you my advertising revenue, but good God, it's too much. It's like Game Trailers is the worst because it just gets. I mean, I love the site, don't get me wrong, and I love the content they make, but the adverts are atrocious. Like, there's one before every video you watch. It's the sidebar and top bar will normally be filled with some kind of video advert, some of which decide to start playing audio by themselves. Occasionally they had one which I think was for, I don't know, Fruit Shoot or some kind of, or maybe some kind of Robinson's candy, I don't know, that just filled the screen and you had to click it away for a while. And it's just like, it's not worth, like, I'd go and do something else if all that stuff like breaks through, because it's just like, too much. Go Giant Bomb or something.
Exactly.
Listen to a Saladcast. Yeah, ad free.
Yeah, ad free. Provided for you. Free of charge.
I hate it. Did you guys see my tweet a couple of days ago about the Adobe Flash update?
Yeah, what was that about?
The auto updater ran, right?
Right.
And it comes up with that little box saying, like, oh, hey, there's a new version of Flash. Do you want to install it? You click yes, as you do. It starts installing it, but then I noticed that instead of the normal 1 bar, there's 3 bars, and one of which says Google Toolbar, and another one says Google Chrome. You already have this installed. And it's like, son of a bitch, you're installing toolbars without asking my permission.
Or you just didn't see it?
No, it really didn't. It really didn't have an option. I'm not the only one on this. This has actually been quite a lot of forum posts and stuff. I checked it out. It's like, no, this. I didn't miss anything. This is real. And it's like, oh, but for starters, that's really shady. And secondly, what the hell is Google doing the toolbar thing?
That's weird.
That's something you reserve for Ask.
What does Google have to do with Flash?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I suppose
why are they partnered up?
I suppose Adobe say that they have to sell these things. Like that's the way that they make money and can support Flash's free development. That's what they say. But presumably Google don't need. I don't know. It sounds bizarre, but I don't think Google needs advertising. They're too big.
Speaking of adverts, the one that I saw a few times last week was that dumb let's have a fight between Bing and Google on the streets of England. Where it's like, what's your favourite search engine? Well, Google, obviously.
Yeah,
I bet you Bing will be better. I bet you an Xbox that Bing will be better. It's like, and then I turned the advert off because I was like, I'm not going to watch this retarded guy in the street making an argument about Bing.
Yeah, the Bing It On campaign.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People have done Pepsi Challenge with Bing and Google. Google does win. Like if you actually do it properly, because it does have better results.
Yeah,
well, of course.
I go through phases of trying to use Bing for a while just to see how it's coming along, and it's a lot better than it used to be, I have to admit. Yeah, the results are often pretty close. But I think part of it is because you just kind of know, when you're using Google, I think you somewhat learn its pattern.
Works. Yeah, maybe.
So you know that the first two results are going to be ads, and then you move down below those, and then you've got, this is probably going to be Experts Exchange because I still haven't blocked it. I can't see any information from it. And next one will be Stack Overflow.
You can block it.
Yeah, I know. I really should.
For the Experts Exchange.
I think you get used to the pattern of where the links you use a lot or the type of information you're looking for will kind of be and what form it will take. And perhaps Bing summarizes things differently, and so you're not quite used to finding it that way. Maybe I don't know. That could be bollocks, but
I can't remember who said it or where the fuck I even heard this. But
I mean, I just said it.
No, not you. It wasn't you. I assume. Don't make claim to what I'm about to say before you've heard it.
Here it's all me.
But apparently, supposedly, people think Bing is better for doing image searches for porn because it just has a better,
I heard this,
image result page.
Apparently, it's amazing for porn.
It was wrong.
It's not images, it's video.
Oh, that too. I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
You can video search?
You can on Bing, I think. I haven't done it, but apparently it's amazing for porn.
That gnome is sort of in the background.
If you couldn't already hear that.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else is news?
Knack is crap.
That's not news.
Is it?
That's obvious.
What
no one likes
games. What we got?
Yeah, no one likes Knack.
I thought that looked okay when they were quick looking at it. I don't know.
I think visually it looks fine, but they're saying it's an incredibly simplistic, boring game. Go to this area, beat some dudes up. Oh look, there's a bit of wall that looks like it's falling down. That must be a secret. Just not interesting at any point in the game. It doesn't do anything clever. It's just go here, beat up some dudes, carry on. People also have a problem with the fact that it likes to cut out to take control away with you to show him jumping off a ledge pointlessly every now and then as you enter a new area. And it's like, well, I could see this as a new area. I guess I'm going to have to jump down. Why did you take control away from me to do this in a non-dramatic fashion? It's
okay.
I don't know. It just seems to be flawed all over. It's apart from, I think the visuals are quite nice. It's
I thought the kind of HDR looked quite good. There was a scene where, it was a sunlit kind of grove and there was parts in shadow and parts, lit up by the sun. And I thought, actually, that looks pretty cool.
I mean, there are some kind of cool versions of the relics that Knack is composed of. Some of them are glass and stuff, so they're all refracting in interesting ways. And so from afar it doesn't look like much; they just look like shiny bits. But then you get up close and you can see that they're all, they're all bending the light and they're all sort of shiny and stuff, and it looks really cool.
They're all in NVIDIA tech, then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that what this game is?
I think so.
Fairly obviously, because it's like a launch game, and especially because it was like, did they show Knack in the same press conference where they did the thing where they filled the town with ducks?
Yes.
So there you go, really, because that's basically what's the same technology. Particles.
Pretty much. Didn't fill it with ducks, did they? It was just random blue blobs.
Oh, ducks must have been another time that they did that.
Yeah.
Well, Ducks was the classic PS2 demo, wasn't it? Back in the day.
Ducks. They reused Ducks for PS3 because that was a launch game. Well, it wasn't. I don't think it came out actually on launch, but they used like a techno to show off the 6-axis that you could move around.
That's right.
A duck in a bath of water, and like that stuff would happen to it, and then it became Super Rubber Dub.
Super Rubber Dub.
Rubber Dub music.
Oh man, did you see the South Park this week?
Yes.
About the console wars. That was pretty.
I haven't seen the second part of it. I don't think that's aired yet.
No, that's not out yet. But yeah.
But that's pretty funny.
That's pretty.
Black Friday bundle.
Bundle. I don't know why that's like stupid. Oh,
that's pretty good. What would they do on Game of Thrones?
So what was there meant to be more corrections columns that we skipped over also?
Oh god, I don't know. Kippers, what did I get wrong? You had beef.
I can't remember what happened in the last podcast.
Okay, good.
To be quite honest.
Phew, safe from corrections.
I'll have a quick look, see if I can find anything. But carry on.
I think it's safe to say that I talked a load of crap about Pokemon.
What?
But we already knew that was crap at the time, so I guess we don't need to correct that.
What? All the stuff about EVs and OVs?
No, about the anime.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was all bullshit.
Which bits were bullshit?
Well, the bit that was especially bullshit that I corrected myself in that podcast, but I just want to emphasise that I know that this is not the case.
Okay.
Ash Ketchum is not the protagonist for like the majority of that anime.
Right.
So it changed at some point.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Several times.
But he is in it quite a bit, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to make a claim about that again.
Yeah, it depends when they change that. I never.
Well, he survived as far as like the movie, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, okay. Did he what? And then someone like there were several movies though. Like, did he get killed by Mewtwo at some point?
In the first movie, and then he got resurrected. Oh. That's the whole point of that movie.
Oh, really?
Basically.
Return of Ash.
Like the last 5 minutes. So anyway, let's not talk about that again.
Pokemon episode 2.
Because we have no idea what we're talking about, as we discussed.
Is that still running then?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. Yeah, of course it is.
Have they changed the theme tune?
I don't know, I haven't seen it.
What about Dragon Ball Z or whatever?
All I see is the sidebar on the Pokédex website where it tells you what episode just came out in Japan and what episode just came out in America.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It doesn't tell you what episode came out in the UK, though.
No, because it doesn't. Yeah, probably.
Do they still do that?
Or something.
Do they still do, guess the Pokemon from the silhouette in the ad break?
Who's that Pokemon?
I don't know if they've... Is there enough episodes for the number of Pokemon there is? That's the question.
That's probably more now. That's probably more now. Yeah, I think they broke from that for a while. Like, I never watched it with any ardor, but I'm sure they started breaking from that pretty soon.
I remember going to New York in 2000 and being in the hotel room watching TV, and Pokemon was on. And there were so many ad breaks that they had an ad break after the episode finished, but before the PokéRap. So you had to wait and watch adverts. And then it came back. That's normal,
though, isn't it? Like American TV does that. They will like have an ad before the credits.
That's right. Yeah, something like that, or like they'll show you the cold open, and then they'll show you the intro, and then they'll immediately break for ads before the program starts. So you can just skip the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes and not miss any actual content.
Pretty well, almost. Depends if they do one of those like Friends or some shows do, where they have stuff happening during the credits and
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. American TV is nuts.
So do you think that's actually for like viewer attention? Where they like, well, if you're going to put an advert before the credits, we'll have to put some actual content in the credits as well to keep people.
I mean, that is generally why the ads are so frequent. Like just slotted in at crazy places in the show. Like the ad breaks are shorter in some cases, but in some cases they're not. In some cases they're a full 3-minute like British ad break, but they've put enough of them in to make a half-hour show have half-hour of adverts, and it's atrocious. I can't stand. I like American TV, but American ads are insane.
Yeah. Did that give Kippers enough time to find out what he needs to bitch about?
No.
For a moment, I just thought he wasn't.
I think we covered most of it anyway, with like the resolutions in Battlefield 4 and stuff like that, and the release date of Titanfall on PC and stuff like that.
Oh man, that is exciting! Can't wait to play that.
Yeah, but I don't really want to buy 2 copies. God damn it!
You don't have to. You play it with your Xbox One mates, and me and Zach will play.
Although that would just be Kippers.
What's wrong with that?
I think it's Destiny comes along.
It's that kind of game where it looks like it's designed for console. To me,
the thing is, when Destiny comes out, you guys are going to get PS4s, aren't you, to play that? Because
is that what Zach? You don't mean Zach?
I don't think so.
No.
What are you talking about?
No,
do you mean me? You did say Destiny, but yeah. But Zach's
there's not a PC version of that planned, is there?
No, I don't think so. It's a console game, isn't it?
There's the old console versions of it.
Well, true.
For some reason.
Oh God, yeah. No, I don't know. When is Destiny due?
Don't know, to be honest. It's betaing on PS4 at some point, but
okay. I'm sure that'll be the same on both the consoles.
Oh, it probably won't. Yeah, it probably will be, apart from resolutions and that jazz.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, it's true.
And exclusive content.
Yeah, there's a lot of that crap going around this time. I mean, there always is, but there just seems to be much more of it, I think, than I remember. Like, in such a small quantity of time, there's just like, hey, exclusive content on PS4, exclusive content on PS4. Get a whole hour of extra assassinating.
Yeah, there's more of that this week as well, wasn't there?
Right, well, what happened this time?
Metal Gear Solid 5 has got an exclusive mission on PlayStation.
Oh, the MGS1 flashback, or retro level or something. Yeah. That's weird.
That one kind of makes sense, though.
Well, yeah, I guess it's like PlayStation heritage stuff. But Metal Gear Solid is a PlayStation game, really.
Yeah,
really, yeah. But is Destiny an Xbox game, really? Because it's kind of Halo. But no, probably not.
Yeah, it sounds like they're sort of preferring PlayStation again. But...
Oh, well, who cares? It'll all be good.
It'll work out.
More interested.
It's weird because, like, this point. It's weird because, given everything I've said about the PS4, it still sounds like it's a games console. I think, I kind of stand by what I said last time, or the last few times, that I think PS4 may end up being the better games console at this point. But I'm more interested in the Xbox because it seems to be more ambitious.
Yeah,
with what it's trying to achieve.
Stuff, yeah.
So it's plus, Microsoft news. Actually, I don't think I have any Microsoft news.
Oh, no.
I think they've stayed relatively quiet.
Yeah, they're a bit quiet, apart from wishing.
I'm sure when I was here last week, you said there was some news. We talked about it, but we weren't recording a podcast at the time.
Oh, I can't remember.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I don't think it was big. So
that's news. Apparently.
Oh, that was. Oh, I guess. Did we talk about the fact that they did that 12-minute Xbox One UI thing?
Yeah, I think that was probably it.
Did we talk about that?
I mean, that was probably what you talked to me about.
Yeah, I think we must have had it because I think I saw it and stuff. Was it Xbox Show My Stuff and all that?
Yeah, they did a 12-minute walkthrough of how the UI works and stuff.
Yeah,
and it seems pretty cool. There's a little bit more emphasis this time on putting your content first, as opposed to just putting all the store stuff in front of you.
Yeah.
Like pins are they're not immediately available. I mean, like the home screen is basically what you've been doing very, very recently, like the last 4 or 5 things. But you have to go one screen to the left to get to your pins, which is probably going to, be the stuff you care about, I guess. But I'm not sure whether or not I never pinned anything on the 360. Just couldn't be bothered. So I wonder if that's just going to be useless functionality to me again. But
the problem with the pins on 360 is they're not pinned to your home screen, they're pinned to another menu within the home screen, so it's kind of pointless.
And it's sort of the same now, but you kind of have to browse one to the left.
Yeah, but that's much easier than going into a separate menu called pins to find it all.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you
Depends what
can
the voice
literally just go
control is to
left
get to
and
the
there's all
pins.
your stuff, whereas now you have to go into another menu to get to your pins.
Yeah. I do still slightly worry about that stuff, that maybe Microsoft still haven't quite grasped this concept of, well, people just want what they have up front, and if they want store stuff, then they need to go digging.
Yeah, I don't get this whole thing though, because the PlayStation 4 one doesn't do it much better, if better at all.
Well, it never really presents you with the store, though. It's like, it doesn't
not
try
the
and sell you
store,
things
but
in the
neither
main
does the Xbox
interface.
One, does it? It doesn't have store on the homepage.
No, but there are ad boxes and things like that, and
I don't know. I just don't get it, because the main problem I have with the PS4 is you can't sort the content. So you
yes,
can't. There's no way to sort the stuff that's on that screen.
That's part of why people are potentially worried about the long-term clutter at the moment, I'd say.
So at least with the pins thing, you can manually choose what you want there. Whereas on PS4, you have no choice. It's just
True.
It's just in that big long list.
Well, at least with software, they can fix these things. It's not like hardware.
Yeah, exactly. They can fix it, but as it is now, there's no way of doing it.
Yeah, true.
And also, everyone's kind of chiming in, thinking that they think the hard drive space is way too small.
Yeah, but at least you can swap it out.
Put a few you can swap it out on the PS4, but there's no external hard drive support.
Right.
No, but you can plug external drives into the Xbox. You can't plug external stuff into the PS4 right now.
Plugging tons of external drives into the Xboxes just to get enough space to have installed games. And
No,
stuff.
I mean people will be deleting installs and stuff like that. It's just it's a layer of awkward, I guess. But it's another reason why owning the discs is still going to be.
Because you uninstall it, and then when you want to reinstall it, you have to re-download it as well.
Exactly, and the current state of broadband means that not most people don't have fiber. I'm one of the lucky ones, so it's.
Yeah, I guess that would be annoying if you just wanted to play a game like for a few hours that you hadn't played for like a year or something, and it was like, oh, it's a big setup deal just to even get into it. I don't even know if I wanted to replay the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's even the long-term, game preservation argument again, that if you have a disc, you can probably still make it work at some point past the death of Xbox Live or whatever. It's that kind of stuff. I don't know. It still feels like at the moment, until the hard discs, with the size of the hard discs they're shipping, it just feels like the discs are probably just still going to remain my preferred way of getting hold of content, unless they're download only.
But at least, it is cool that you can swap out in the PlayStation for like a standard disc that you can just buy off eBay or whatever. So you could put like a 2 terabyte one in. It wouldn't even cost you that much money compared to those ridiculous Xbox branded ones.
Well, I heard someone discussing what hard disk you can actually put in a PS4, and due to the size dimensions of it, I think you can only go up to 1.5 terabytes at the moment, because no other bigger ones will fit. Are they laptop drives or? I don't know if they're actually laptop or if they're just some middle form factor. Yeah, because I think they're not full form on the PS3, so I would assume they'd have stuck with the same.
Yeah, probably right.
So they're probably laptop drives.
Yeah, probably laptop drives. Well, they'll probably get bigger. Although laptops have going heavily towards SSDs these days. They might stop making laptop hard drives at some point. Do you know what I mean? If you end up.
I think we're a while away from that yet, but I'm with you. That will probably happen in the not too distant future.
Indeed.
So I guess the other thought that came to mind is Killzone looks all right. It's getting review scores about the same as Call of Duty, the last Call of Duty did. And everyone was like, it's Call of Duty. Not much has changed.
Yeah.
Perhaps getting a little tired of this now. And then Killzone is kind of reviewing at the same level. But I still can't help but wonder, why has nobody copied the Warzone idea? Like that, I've mentioned this before. That was one of the things I took away from Killzone 2, thinking they're onto something here. Warzone is the game type where the objective can shift throughout a match. So a match is like a fixed time period. But as soon as someone achieves a certain objective within that time period, the objective changes. So the game is always flowing and always changing, and you have to adopt different roles as you go and stuff like that. It's really interesting and quite engaging. And it's very rewarding for support roles.
That's cool. That sounds like a good. Yeah, I mean, no one's tried to copy.
No
that
one's
game
copied
type.
it. No, I'm sort of baffled by it in a way because everyone copies everything in the FPS domain.
Battlefield 2142.
Yeah,
It's Titan mode. Only not quite, because even after you've taken down the shield, it's still easier to keep the silos.
Yeah, but that's kind of that game is always going to be the same. You know what I mean? It's just this morphing objective is. I always thought it was neat. I always thought Killzone 2 had its flaws, and that's why I kind of didn't stick with it. But the game type is fascinating.
Maybe people don't like it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it just needs a bit of. It just needs someone, I think, someone made perhaps a bigger name than Killzone, someone with a bit more of an install base to try it.
But I could see something like that working in Titanfall, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Titanfall, even COD, I think, could do it because COD's game types aren't crazy varied. Like, suddenly drop into a domination game or something, and then change to something else. It's easily done. So surely it's not that difficult to implement, but yeah, I don't know. Just still surprises me. Just me there. All right, yeah.
Shadowfall.
It looks really pretty.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, that's kind of what you want from a launch title in some ways. I mean, it doesn't look like. I think I'd get bored of it quite quickly on the single player.
Well, they say the campaign's very hit and miss. Like, it has some really, really good moments, but then towards the latter third of the game, throws in a couple of really, really dull segments, and it's so it's a bit of a mixed bag. They have some good ideas, but they don't execute on them all the time. I like their change of direction. They're going away from the meathead soldier point of view and going towards the covert ops guy.
Yeah, that
partially means they can get away from having AI partners, I think. And
well, that's cool too. I mean, Call of Duty is just a constant parade of follow me, isn't it? Or let us kill everyone and you kind of hang around somewhere vaguely nearby.
or no, it's more most of the time it's the opposite, as in, we're going to deal with these guys off screen. You have to do everything.
Right, or we're not going to manage to deal with anyone on screen, and you're just going to have to end up killing everyone.
Yeah. Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's weird when I think about games that sort of, like I think it was Gears of War 3, there was that big thing about if you put it in normal difficulty, it pretty much plays itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Because your teammates are competent. And it's like, well, at what point does that actually become a problem? Like, if your teammates are competent, then you don't have to do anything, and therefore it's not really a game anymore. Like, Battlefield 4's campaign recently got slated for the same things. Like, your teammates can be shooting right at a dude. Like, bullets will seemingly pass through enemy combatants, and nothing will happen to them until you shoot them in the head. That kind of crap. It's
yeah, it's hard to strike that balance, because you want them to feel, like, important, and competent, and not, like, just following you around being useless. But you also want to play the game.
I guess squad-based shooters kind of had the advantage because presumably they can be competent once you tell them what to do. Maybe.
You'd hope so.
But then be shit perhaps during the interim.
Spend the rest of the time going, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know what I would if I got a PS4 right now. I don't know what I'd be playing.
Resogun.
Probably Resogun. Yeah.
About the only thing worth playing at the moment, isn't it?
It's just frickin' Defender, but oh my god,
exclusive wise,
the stuff explodes real good.
I haven't even got Wipeout to play. That's what I want. God damn it.
Yeah, god damn it.
Fucking hell. Anyway, yeah. And then what?
It's almost been a launch game on every Sony system except for this one.
Oh. No, there isn't even Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. I mean,
yeah, what's Namco doing?
Yeah, what the hell?
They dropped the tradition.
Exactly. There's always a crappy Ridge Racer. Well, getting progressively worse Ridge Racer game over the years.
Yeah, why didn't they release Driftopia in a free-to-play version on PS4? Something like that.
Deary me. Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit depressing. There aren't any games that I want to play on PS4, I don't think. What's coming out?
I mean, that's
I guess I'd play Assassin's Creed. That's what I'd probably get that.
Octodad.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I just love that name, Dadliest Cat.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Yeah,
genius.
I think I'd definitely go for Assassin's Creed right now.
But that's what I mean. That's kind of why I sided for Xbox for the launch window, because I think its launch titles are just that much more that little bit more interesting to me.
Well, you got Forza.
Like, I'm really quite excited to play Forza now.
Yeah, I think
it's been growing.
It's because you saw that pizza advert that's called Forza Pizza.
Well, yeah, that doesn't help.
Combines your two main interests into one product.
That doesn't help.
I think the Xbox has just generally got the more varied and more interesting lineup overall.
Yeah, it has right now.
But long term, PS4 has got some big hitters coming, and that's
they announced Uncharted, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be all kinds of cool stuff coming to PS4 before long. But right
I found it quite funny when that got announced because everyone was like, "Oh, more Uncharted." I was like, "Really? Everyone loved Uncharted."
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
What's wrong with that? Uncharted's amazing. It's like, okay, yeah, perhaps by the third Uncharted game, some of the ideas seem a bit worn out, but
what about the storyline?
Well, yeah, the storyline in that game doesn't make any sense anyway. But it's actually one of the kind of best things about the game, but it's pretty fucking dumb. Like all the best Indiana Jones films.
Well, apart from like the last one.
I said the best Indiana Jones films.
Can you imagine how mental that's going to look on the PS4, given how good Uncharted 3 looked?
Yeah, it'll be real good.
Yeah, insane.
It looks like it's going to be Assassin's Creed 4 Uncharted, though. The pirates and stuff.
I mean, that's too far away from kind of where it was. It would just be pirates with guns.
And supposedly it's not Nathan Drake anymore.
What?
Well, that's probably a good thing, considering the storyline.
But does this mean the Nolan North era is coming to an end?
Possibly.
Well, obviously there's nothing set in stone, but what people have said is they think it might be his ancestor.
Or maybe, wait.
It's in the past. I was about to say this is that what they should actually do is, like, if they're going to make it pirates, make it actual pirates with, like, swords and shit.
Yeah, that's what people think. It's going to be, like, pirate era stuff.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if that's true.
Pirate games. Lots of pirate games. Go for it.
Yeah, it's the new thing, isn't it? It would be an interesting new direction. Perhaps they realised that, perhaps they've done everything they wanted to do with Uncharted, so we need to do something else.
But so then what they're going to do is, like, create the same overarching storyline as Assassin's Creed had. It's like, it's his ancestor.
They probably won't do anything in the Animus, though.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Time travel.
I did wonder if Naughty Dog were going to go in a different direction again after The Last of Us, because I don't know if that series has legs.
No, I think that's a one-off, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if that would have legs as a franchise. So I'm sort of surprised that they went back to Uncharted, to be honest. But hell, I'm looking forward to it, regardless.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll do something else the next time. Fall back on Uncharted for now.
I mean, that's not the best thing that you can say. It's like, maybe next time, maybe next time, maybe next time.
Well, they've done it once.
That has been Naughty Dog's pattern. They've had a franchise that has been their thing for each of the PlayStation generations. Like, their thing for the first generation was Crash Bandicoot. Their thing for the second generation was Jak and Daxter. And it's like, and then Uncharted kind of took everything else out of the picture. And it's so I was more expecting them to go in a different tangent, just do something completely different, but not yet.
Well, they did The Last of Us. That was different enough, I think.
Oh yeah, true. But
someone's car alarm's going off.
Beep beep.
It's not mine.
It's all good.
Okay. Just so you.
Mine doesn't make a car horn noise. Mine's an awkward just beep.
Sounds like it might be your neighbours judging by the sound of someone coming down the stairs from next door.
I think everyone's looking for it. Is it a white Monday? No, it's not a white Monday. We're good. It's done.
And
okay.
There you go. Live.
Live from a housing estate in Ipswich. A car goes off.
Proven. Yeah, I don't think there's anything really much else about PS4 that I'm interested in right now.
Okay,
like, Assassin's Creed 4 is supposed to be good. Everyone's waiting on Watch Dogs.
Yeah, I guess
Infamous looks all right.
Yeah, I guess.
When's that?
That's March.
Yeah,
okay.
March 21st. I think it comes out.
When's Watch Dogs? March.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so March is the
Seems like
second
it.
wind for the consoles.
Well, it's just because March is like end of fiscal or whatever,
Right. Okay, so everything
or
comes out
quarter
then.
or whatever. So they have to say March regardless of when it actually comes out.
It's the
Even if they
traditional.
delay it past that point.
Isn't that the traditional Mass Effect launch window, sort of March time?
No, January, I think.
Really?
Yeah, they went earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, even earlier, February, January.
I think Mass Effect 2 was January.
Blimey. Man, that was sweet. We should play that game.
Game of the generation, perhaps?
We should start talking about that. If you're a gamer, gave Game of the Generation to them in like Super Mario Galaxy 2 or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
At least give it a 1. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Later. Well, that's the thing, dude. That's the tricky thing with sequels. It's like you kind of have to base them on the fact that innovation does, in theory, go a long way with these things. But yeah, I don't know. 2 might have been the better game.
We didn't play it, so we don't know.
No.
So there you go.
Anyway, we'll have a Game of the Generation section on our
Game of the Year.
Game of the Year podcast. Coming soon, round about episode 100 of the Saladcast, potentially.
Yeah.
So what else has been happening in the world of video games?
Is there any more news?
Xbox have announced that they're going to be doing free games every month, like PSN Plus next year.
Oh, what, even on the One?
Yes, specifically for the One.
That's cool. Carrying on Games of Gold.
But how are they going to find games for that? Like they can't.
How was PSN going to find games?
Yeah, but they've got
PlayStation 4.
They've got old. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah.
Perhaps they'll buy in some indie games that have been around for a while, or perhaps some they might. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a number of conversions of things that were popular on 360 and PS3 getting just pushed to PS4. Because a lot of these games have had PC versions that have run in 1080 and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just see a ton of those come out of the woodwork.
I guess if you've already got a PC version, it's relatively easy to port it to PS4 or Xbox One, potentially.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Ironically, it's probably a lot easier to port from PC to those consoles than from, say, 360 to One or PS3 to PS4.
You'd probably end up doing a sort of weird mismatch, wouldn't you? Like you'd take the PC code, but then add the code you had for like Xbox Live services, maybe, and
yeah, maybe
kind of all munge it in.
Yeah, just shove it all in and ship it. That'll do. That'll work perfect. Oh dear.
Speaking of which, it's actually quite a good segue. Pinball Arcade actually came out.
Yeah. Wait, did we say that last time?
No, we talked about it. We haven't talked about it on the cast.
All right, that was one of the things we talked about last week.
Yeah, last time we talked about it, the Pinball Arcade release date came and went, and it didn't actually come out until the following week. But talking about munging everything, just shoving it all into the shippable, their delivery model is a bit weird. So it's a free. They've gone for the same free-to-play model that they've done on iOS and stuff. But instead of you downloading the tables you want, the game downloads all of them, whether you can play them or not. So it's like a 3 and a bit gig download to get you started. You'll get one table for free that you can play as much as you want. But that's just kind of weird. It's like they just dump everything on you and you have to buy it to play it, and like rather than going for the download model, which is kind of, I don't know, I thought that was kind of crappy. And then they had me worried for a while because they were doing like in-app purchases to allow you to unlock the tables, which meant, oh no, does this mean they're not going to be participating in Steam sales and stuff? But they recently released the season passes as DLC packs. So yes, they will be potentially part of Steam sales. Hooray!
Oh, cool.
Pinball Arcade. Oh, and they also said that they will be supporting the advanced lighting techniques used in the PS4 version eventually. They will move their rendering engine to use fancy new DX11 stuff. So even apparently that has launched on PS4 as well. I've just seen nothing about it. So yeah, apparently all of that fancy new lighting tech in the PS4 version will eventually filter down to the PC version. So good news.
Does sound like good news. Yeah, I mean, you want the fanciest stuff possible on your pinball,
on your PC especially,
right? On your PC pinball. God damn it!
It plays real well on the PC. It's got to be said.
Cool.
I
nice
think
and
it's
responsive.
Yeah, it's the favorite version I've played so far.
Oh,
I've played a few of them.
You've played a few. You've sampled a few versions of that.
Yeah, it works real good.
Speaking of versions of things,
although the menu is still terrible.
Speaking of versions of things that are on the iPad, I guess.
Yeah.
FTL's coming to the iPad now.
Yeah, they're only doing a whole extended edition.
Yeah, they're doing a free like content patch basically, and they did the thing that is actually a good idea, where it's a toggle, so you can still play the classic. Like that car alarm's going off again. You can still play the classic set of events, I guess, without the new stuff.
Oh, so you can turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about firing that up the other day because I've got it in a humble bundle ages ago.
Right.
I was just wondering, perhaps I should play this properly. It's always had that kind of air of intrigue to it, but I'm not sure if it would just piss me off royally, like it being all roguelikey and stuff.
It's not that difficult.
Oh, no, but I suck at strategy sort of games. But
well, you can play it on the iPad instead.
No, but I have a copy. Actually, well, no, maybe they'll unlock it on the Humble Bundle and play on iOS. They might. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, if you do play it, make sure you don't play it with the new stuff turned on, because I'm sure that'll make it actually harder.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking about it, because probably just adding more stuff means you're less likely to get the things you want.
Oh, I guess, yeah. If you're gunning for a thing you haven't done yet.
Or you're less likely to see a combination of things that you can turn into something useful.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that'd be rough.
Yeah.
I thought they would always perhaps have some, like, logic to say, like, oh, you've seen the first part of this, therefore the likelihood of the other parts.
Well, for the parts of the events, but I meant, like, combinations of weapons. It's like if you just...
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
If you just happened across, like, all different EMP weapons or something, then you might not have any actual firepower. And the more options there are for non-damage weapons, the more likely you are to see them.
Presumably they thought of that and would have like the new actual weapons, and then the ratio would still be balanced.
Maybe, but it depends whether the new actual, because it's like not every weapon is actually any use as it is anyway.
True.
So yeah, that's going to come out. I didn't actually see when, so I don't know. I might actually have to play FDL before it comes out, so I can play it again.
And they did specifically say there's going to be more music in the pack as well, because everyone loves the music.
Yep.
So is it just if you already own it, is it cheaper, like an expansion?
Well, it's free.
Oh, it's free. Oh, okay. So it's just all versions of the game become
this extended edition.
Extended edition. Oh, nice. And it's coming out on iPad. Sweet.
That seems wise.
That's pretty cool. There's quite a few. Almost full blown-ish games. Well, XCOM you can play on iPad, right? The full game. I wonder if they'll release probably release the enemy within stuff on iPad.
Yeah, they'll probably just deliver an in-app.
Yeah, well, maybe they are charging for it, right? An in-app purchase. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, still fairly looking for. I might play that at some point. It won't be in the Steam sale though, because it'll only just have come out probably.
Yeah, seems unlikely. They'll probably do like a 10% pre-order thing if they're not already.
You'll have to wait until, I don't know, Easter maybe.
I did love the phrase they used on South Park to describe pre-orders. Like, pre-orders don't mean shit. You're just committing to buy something that some dude in California hasn't built yet.
Yeah. It's true. Don't mind pre-ordering that. It was worth pre-ordering for the console anyway, otherwise you wouldn't even have got it. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got them yet.
That's true. It's unresolved.
Although Kips did receive his copy of Ghosts early.
Oh, really? What,
he's got an Xbox One console,
copy?
didn't it?
Yeah, he's got an Xbox One copy of Ghosts, and he hasn't got a console to play on.
Nice. Okay.
I can tell you all about the case.
Oh, sweet. Give us a case review.
How is the dog?
Well, it's green.
Okay.
I can confirm that the green is slightly different colour.
Yep. It's a different colour green, right?
Definitely
darker.
green.
Is it a shitty eco case?
It's like the same size as a PS3 case, I think, roughly.
I guess that's more eco than the old ones then.
Yeah. It's got the Xbox One logo, like, I don't know what the word is, but engraved on it, kind of thing.
Engraved.
Embossed is better.
Well,
embossed,
it depends whether it's raised or lowered.
Well, it's like stuck on it, kind of thing.
Punching.
All silvery and nice looking. On the back, it's got Microsoft embossed on it. It's exciting. Here's the big change. You ready for this? Brace yourselves.
Oh,
man.
It opens to the right.
The disc
No.
is on the left-hand side.
What?
So it pretty much does open to the right then.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
so
not
that's
that
new.
interesting. I haven't decided.
Why would they do that? Let's try and work that out.
Yeah, what could that have possibly...
Is it to do with like disc damage or something? Like you put it with the face up onto stuff, so the stuff that comes stabs the box in the back doesn't damage the disc as much.
So did they do some analysis of this and said, right, most people's game boxes, they get stabbed in the back quite a lot. But if you stab them in... So we've made our boxes, so if you stab them in the front, then you're screwed. But if you stab them in the back, you're just going to scratch the picture on the disc.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about discs, isn't it? The actual data layer is actually closer to the picture than the other side. You know, you see what I mean?
Yeah, maybe, but you've got... I don't know. But like... You'd have to get through the picture layer to get to the data layer still. Whereas if you damage the bottom of it and you're mucking up the refraction, you can't get at the data layer anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think there's any reason like that to why. I think they just moved it because they were like, let's make it different. Yeah.
I don't think they just do it for shits and giggles, because you have to like make a whole manufacturing process for these completely different boxes.
Or did you want it so you opened it up and then you sort of saw the manual or lack of on
no manual
on the
or
other
an advert?
Yeah, exactly. I bet that's what it is. So you open it and the first thing you see is an advert for Xbox Live, or
I can confirm the first thing you see when you open it is an Xbox Live 7-day trial card.
Success.
what did I tell you?
No
First, they've
manuals,
been
of
shipping
course.
those with like every Microsoft game for a long time now. But although 7 days is like 2.5 times longer than they normally give you. Wait, no, 3.5 times.
Maps.
There's no manuals or anything.
No. Is there even going to be any kind? Is there like, are we now in the age of online manuals like the DS does or whatever, or have they just given up entirely?
I don't think most games have any kind of documentation like associated with them. Perhaps you can go find the EULA somewhere.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah.
That's what the DS has: digital manuals that you have to actually remember to go look at. Because sometimes they tell you stuff that the game doesn't tell you.
I guess Ninty are the one company that are still. We didn't include that in our Japanese game argument. Like Ninty is still the one Japanese game company probably innovating the most.
Yep.
Or being relevant, shall we say, to our audience.
Oh yeah, I thought I mentioned Ninty, didn't I? I don't know.
Oh yeah, New Zelda is apparently the shit.
Well, I mean, it would have to be really.
Like so much the shit.
The portable
in a
one.
good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. They're usually good.
Yeah. When does that actually come out here, though?
Soon.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's before Crimbo.
Man, is it trying to buy it for 3DS? Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know though.
So one of you bought 3DS.
I don't really like the SKUs. Like, I'm not sure about those XL ones. I don't know. I mean, I guess
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm 100% on either of them, but I think I'd get the XL given the choice.
Well, the thing about the XL, well, two things about it that have just come up while I've been talking to the one other person who I have a friend's code for, and actually that I know who has a 3DS. It was like
after you go through the process of getting the friend code, do you have to? Is it obligatory to ask each other? Was it good for you?
Probably, but it's just like. Well, the one thing they were talking about was when there was the classic, the screens are 90% bigger.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, it's like, if this screen was 90% smaller, that'd be fucking tiny. Because it seems like it would almost be smaller than a normal DS, even though it's probably actually exactly the same size as a normal DS.
Is that the combined screen size of both screens? Do you reckon that makes that 90%? Or
it's a percentage, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but like... screen sizes are weird anyway, because like you double a screen and it's not twice as
no, that's true.
Diagonal, is it?
And then the other thing about the 3DS XL, which I can't actually compare it to a normal 3DS, so I don't know, but that thing is quite like it hurts my hands from holding it so long because it's quite fucking heavy. And I've been noticing it playing Pokemon because it's the one game that ever uses the circle pad sometimes and the D-pad other times.
Oh, yeah.
And the D-pad is not actually in a good position to hold it because you're like holding it right on the bottom corner of the system rather than having actually all your fingers behind it.
Haven't we? But isn't that kind of the same? If you think back to the SP, isn't that kind of how you were holding that in a weird sort of way? Because the SP was kind of friggin' tiny and
SPs there.
pretty awkward to put in your hand.
Yeah, but that's because it was small, not because it was badly laid out.
Right, hang on, I'm just going to have to put this in my hand.
You're going to have to hold my 3DS and have a see.
It feels kind of like a GBA to me, like that position.
Yeah, but it's so low down that you're...
It is a little lower than your normal.
It's because the circle pad is in the prime position for it.
I'm trying to think how we used to have to pump A and use LNR while playing F-Zero, because that was possibly the most finger-hurting game I think I played on GBA. Pump A! Pump it! Wait, I'm pushing B. Pump B!
But then it's like...
Yeah, the circle pad is definitely more comfortable.
The whole thing is just heavy, of course, because it's quite fucking big. 90% big, as it turns out.
That's not too bad.
You say that, but you're just holding it now, not playing shit on it for long periods of time.
I pressed it on my knee or something normally.
Well, unless you're using the 3D, then you're fucked.
Oh yeah, because I'd have to hold it right up to my face.
Not quite that close. So anyway, yeah, 3DS. Buy one, I guess.
Also, it still remains true that the Fire Emblem one is awesome.
It's black and blue. It doesn't even need the Fire Emblem shit on it. That was the good colour anyway.
Yeah, that's all you needed, yeah.
So, that's news, I guess.
Yeah, that's news. So
people have been saying the remote play stuff is good on the PS4. Like, it works really, really well.
Yeah, they did a bit of that with Resogun on the Giant Bomb stream. It looked pretty good.
Yeah. Obviously, it depends on the game, like how well the Vita adapts as a controller. Like, apparently Battlefield 4 is atrocious. But the tech powering the screen and it working across the wire is really good. As in, like, the range is pretty impressive on the Wi-Fi from the PS4 and stuff, apparently. So
cool.
They may have upped the Wii U.
Well, depends how you look at it, really.
I guess you've got to buy a Vita.
That particular function of the Wii U, yeah. Okay. Right, shall we move on to what you've been playing? We'll start with our guest, shall we?
Yeah.
Rick, what you been playing this past couple of weeks?
I played Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, yeah?
Ooh, yay.
How are you liking it?
I wasn't blown away, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Have
you finished it?
Yeah, I finished it.
Because surely the ending is the thing that makes that game, if you ask me.
Well, I was streaming it.
Which means you weren't paying quite so much attention.
Plot points.
Yeah. I figured that would be the outcome of this conversation, because I knew Kimmers had been streaming it. It's like, it's a game where supposedly the story is kind of important at the end. How much more Kimmers have paid attention?
How often did you go, so how's everyone doing in the chat
pretty much. I couldn't really recollect anything that happened in it. Was part of the problem.
Okay.
You couldn't remember the
by
stuff
the end, or like after
or any
the
of
end?
it really, but that's how much it stuck in my mind. But there was a few things about that I do remember which kind of annoyed me.
It's easier to remember the bad things as our reviews normally go.
I mean, it was a fine game. Like, I didn't think it was anything particularly original in terms of gameplay or anything like that. But one thing I did notice, there was a hell of a lot of backtracking in that game.
Well, certain sections there are, but not like
you go through the same areas like multiple times a lot of the time.
There's some of that. I agree. You go into a location and then have to come out of that location.
There was one set of missions
at least
where
3 times.
You had to go see some gunsmith or something.
Oh yeah.
And you literally go back there like 3 times.
Yeah, but it's in like different time periods and things.
Which is fine, but the time thing didn't change anything about the location. They looked exactly the same.
Sort of. I mean, I thought that was kind of interesting myself, because the subtle differences were the stuff that were intriguing. It's like, oh, why is that like that? And then, of course, you get all the shit with the dudes unable to deal with the tear and stuff, which I thought was cool. But I agree with you. Getting there once you're in this other dimension is just like, you're just going through the same area backwards. But the story points with the tears are the interesting stuff.
Yeah, I just got kind of annoyed, kept going back and forth through the same bits. It's like, I've been here before, really? Let me go somewhere new. Maybe that's just me, but I thought it was kind of annoying having to keep backtracking through everything.
I thought there was less of it than there has been in the Bioshock series.
Yeah, well, I've not played any of the other ones, so I'm new to the series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was definitely downplayed compared to 1 and 2. You probably won't get on with those because you do have to retrace. You go to each area at least twice. Like pretty much every area in the game you go to at least twice in the first one. But
not really an issue. I just thought it was kind of a bit annoying.
How'd you get on with the Skyrail combat?
The combat was alright. It was just it didn't feel new. Like it just felt like something I've done before. Like the guns were pretty cool to use and stuff like that, but I didn't really use much of the salt stuff because I didn't really need to. Use the guns all the time.
Well, I found that a lot of the confrontations were a bit too long ranged for the salt.
Yeah, that was also part of the problem. I just used the sniper pretty much the whole game because it was stupidly powerful.
It was pretty good.
And you don't have to like scope it. You can just no scope all the time with it. Because it's stupidly accurate.
What difficulty were you playing in, out of interest? Were you just in normal?
Yeah, I think I was just in normal.
Yeah, because I think that's what Dan and I discovered when we talked about it. That Dan played it through normal as well, but I played it through hard. And it's the jump. Normal's too easy. Hard is too hard. It's like there should be a middle ground for that. Because it kind of forces you. Hard mode does force you to be a little creative with the combat. You can't just stand out in the open and spray and hope for the best because the enemies are too good. And in typical Bioshock fashion, you die real quick in hard mode.
Like that was the other thing. Like dying had like zero consequence, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you didn't really care about dying.
I kind of wanted to turn off that option, but it sort of had story implications in this one. So
yeah,
I can sort of see why they didn't give you the option to turn off fighter chambers. But
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a bit underwhelming.
Were you PCing it or Xbox?
I was on PC.
Damn pretty though.
Yeah, it looked very nice. It was a very nice looking game. The other thing that I got bored of was, like you have to kind of scavenge for shit all the time, like money and that.
Yeah.
I got kind of bored of doing that because it's again all the places look almost the same, so I kind of got bored of looking around.
Yeah, I can see that. It's one of those weird things where it's a little out of place. It made sense in the original Bioshocks, but it doesn't make a lot of sense in Infinite. The fact that you're like wandering around this fairly nice environment most of the time, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then you go and just rummage in the trash.
Just open all the drawers.
And everyone's like, "Oh, how you doing, trash heads?" Yeah, cash in the bins.
Why is there money in the bins?
There's always money
because it's such an extravagant civilization, they're just throwing it away.
Crazy people. But it was alright, I enjoyed it.
I thought it was really interesting. I thought the combat was, we talked about this before, but I thought the combat was derivative and not great, but the story elements I thought were fabulous. But
yeah, it felt kind of like, well, to me, because obviously I played a lot of Skyrim, it felt kind of Skyrim-esque because of all the one hand with the magic-y type stuff and the other hand with, although in Skyrim you use a sword, but in that game it was like a gun instead, but
it's a
that kind
bit
of combat
Skyrim
system.
On the combat, a little bit. Skyrim was like a bit weird. Well, all those Elder Scrolls games are a bit strange in the combat. Just in general.
Yeah.
Walk up to something and mash the buttons.
Yeah, just sort of bash and then, well, no, you had to do a kind of rhythm to it, but the whole thing was just a bit weird. It seems like a kind of weird afterthought, the combat in Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah, I thought I only used sort of a couple of the salts powers or whatever they're called, vigors, for the most of the part because I found a lot of them quite useless.
Yeah, I ended up just using the murder of crows and the electricity mostly.
Yeah.
I ended up experimenting more towards the end. Like, ended up using the undertow quite a lot towards the end. But not to pull people towards me, just to push them off shit.
Yeah.
It was incredibly useful for that.
It would have been better if you could switch between all of them a lot quicker rather than having to use the wheel. I don't know if that would have been possible.
Gameplay if you bring out the wheel.
It would have been nice to be able to switch to stuff on the fly a lot easier.
Maybe. I mean, they did have. The first Bioshocks used to have it because you didn't have the 2 weapon system. You had you could hold as much as you want. So I think the F keys were.
Oh, okay.
Were the what do you call them? Plasmids, yeah. And the number keys were your weapons. So you had a full. You held everything. But I kind of liked the fact that the wheel let you pause. So you bring up the wheel to select your vigor, and the game stops. You can have a quick little think about what you're doing. It's what's going to work best.
It just kind of messed up the flow a bit for me.
I think the idea kind of felt like they were gunning for that you had 2 vigors that you would rely on most of the time, and that would be your main one, and then your tab to quick switch to it, or whatever the button was.
Yeah. I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't really remember much about it though. That's the problem.
That's what streaming does.
Cool. Okay.
But it didn't do enough for me to make me want to play it again or anything like that.
See, I'm pretty interested about that burial at sea.
Yeah, I kind of want to wait until the 2 parts are together because it sounds like it's so short that you kind of.
I'm not sure I can justify paying the price for it. It's high quality DLC, but it's not. I'm not sure. It doesn't fit my ratio.
Fair enough.
Naturally.
Well, I think I will play it, but I'll probably wait for the second one to come out and then play them both at once.
Yeah.
It's my cunning plan. So,
What else you got, Kippers?
Anything else?
Call of Duty, obviously.
Yep.
Naturally.
Yeah, I played a bit of that with him.
I still think Black Ops 2 is one of my favourite Call of Duties.
It's the best Call of Duty, easily.
I still think Black Ops 1 might be a little bit better for me, but Black Ops 2 is definitely one of it's probably the game I've put the most time in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's still a hell of a lot of fun. And from what I've seen
you've played that multiplayer at least 10 times the amount I have. That's kind of crazy.
Oh, at least, yeah. I think I've racked up nearly 10 days on it now.
Jeez.
But it's just so much. It's so fun when you get into that groove of just killing everyone.
The one thing you do in that game.
I say geez, but that's less than half my TF2 time.
Although that's over 6 years.
Yeah,
or something.
that's when you put that into perspective. It's like you've accumulated that over a year. That's nuts.
Yeah, less than a year. Crazy. Well, I guess it's a year now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not that nuts.
But still one of my favourite.
Not by Zach standards, it's not that nuts.
The first game of Call of Duty that I actually prestige mastered, though, which is kind of cool.
It's the first one I prestiged in full stop.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Call of Duty that grabs me, though. There's just something about it.
I've tried to discuss this before. It is when everything fits together with Call of Duty, it's a masterclass in how to build a multiplayer game. But it just always feels like it's so susceptible to the tiniest of problems that just fuck up the experience. Like the tiniest bit of lag just fucks everything up.
Well,
really bad.
In theory, next gen you won't have those problems because of all the dedicated servers and stuff. But
maybe, yeah.
Supposedly.
I mean, you always get lag issues whatever you're doing. It's the same with Battlefield on PC. It's the same. There's always going to be some networky related issue occasionally.
But not much you can do about that.
Maybe it will be improved on, Xbox's cloud servers. But
indeed.
But it's interesting. How have they done it on PlayStation? How have they done for the new COD? How do they do it for that? Because is it still peer to peer?
It's mixed. There are dedicated servers, but there's also peer to peer. So you can be on either.
Oh, okay. So they're not using Microsoft's cloud to host it. They're just hosting stuff anyway.
Yes, I believe so.
Fair enough. Okay, that makes some sense.
Apparently, it's the same on current gen, but it seems to be that most people are getting peer to peer on current gen rather than the dedicated.
There's probably too much demand. Probably way too much demand for them to cope.
Yeah, still my favourite multiplayer game that I play.
Yeah.
Nothing else really comes close to it, to be honest. I played the Battlefield 4 beta and I didn't really enjoy that very much.
I don't think neither you or Dan really got into the last. But well, no, you sort of liked Battlefield, but you liked it for the close combat stuff.
Oh yeah, the close combat stuff was awesome, but still ridiculously annoying.
What, in comparison to CoDBlOps?
Yes.
Okay. And so is that just less annoying? I guess.
Well, it depends. CoDBlOps can be annoying. As Rob said, if you get problems with lag or whatever, then it gets really frustrating.
And if you've watched any of Kippers' COD streams, the legendary rage.
Yeah, well, that doesn't help either because it obviously takes away a lot of my upload speed, which makes me lag a lot.
Yeah.
When I stream, but I have more problems in Battlefield than I do with COD. Although on the Battlefield 4 beta, I had very little problems.
Oh, really?
That seemed to run really smoothly, and I had no lag and stuff like that.
So they boned something up in the release.
I don't think there's that kind of problem.
No.
I just don't like the feel of Battlefield. And they seem to have way too much health in Battlefield 4.
I've heard it's less health in Battlefield 4. Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe.
It's already pretty lethal.
Well, yeah, exactly. If they get any less, then it'll be maybe worse.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When I play Call of Duty, you can down people in, 3 bullets or something. Whereas on Battlefield 4, it took me a good, good half a clip to down someone at times.
I found Battlefield's model somewhat. I kind of agree with you. I find Battlefield's hit detection sometimes spottier than COD's.
Well, you don't have auto aim for a start. So
Well, no, true, but it's whether or not when even when you get the hit markers coming up, it sometimes can feel like you're putting a ton of shots into someone, and then next time you'll do the same thing and they'll die instantly, and excluding headshots, obviously. It's I have a bit of I find I do agree with you. I find Battlefield kind of hard to know what happened, why stuff succeeded and why stuff didn't. Maybe it's more tough on, say, the difference between hitting center mass and a limb or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's the only thing I've ever come up with, to be honest. Apart from the network just being weird. Or bullets being random damage.
I was trying to remember whether there was whether there was a class thing you could have that would alter your resistances in Battlefield 3. I don't think there was. I don't think any of the squad perks actually did that.
No, there was a flak thing, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah, for explosions.
Yeah.
But not for bullets.
Yeah. Yeah, because you didn't have heavy armor or anything in this one.
No.
You didn't have that choice.
That dumb choice. That was in 21.2, you never used light armor because it was not an actual option. It was make you less.
Did it actually make any real difference? Because you could sprint for slightly longer.
Yeah,
but
you sprint longer but have less health. That's why? You could already sprint a pretty long way.
Yeah.
Have you picked up Battlefield 4 then, Zeg?
No,
neither of us have. We're not.
I wanted to play Battlefield 3 again. We just never played it enough, I don't think, and I was still up for it, but I don't want the outlay from Battlefield 4.
Oh,
any kind of slight price drop, and then I might consider it. So I'm just going to wait.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm really going to enjoy Battlefield 4 more than I enjoy 3. I mean, maybe I guess I didn't get on with a lot of the maps in 3.
Yeah, so at least you'll have a new crop of maps.
Yeah. So that's kind of the most interesting thing to me about 4 is, there'll be new maps that maybe I will get on with more. And maybe, hopefully, they've tweaked the vehicle balance.
Yeah.
But
that's the problem I have with Battlefield 4 is it felt identical to Battlefield 3. There was very little difference.
Oh, yeah, because you played it a Eurogame, didn't you? Or...
Oh, no, I played the beta of Battlefield 4.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you played Titanfall a Eurogame. I remember, yeah.
Just feels exactly the same. It's at least with Call of Duty, I know people say it's basically the same game every time, which I can sort of see their point, but at least they change a lot of the things with it.
Yeah. The Levolution stuff sounds cool. The fact that it had how dramatic it can change a battlefield, the one where you can make one of the city levels flood, sounds cool.
It can change the battlefield from the server being online to the server being offline.
Well, yes.
At the moment,
yeah.
Awesome.
So perhaps, give it 6 months, they'll have got it sorted.
Yeah.
Give it 6 months. They'll have patched it about 8 what's the SimCity number now? It's 8 times, and then it might actually be getting close to good.
Oh dear.
You got to laugh at COD's attempt at that, though. That's pretty abysmal.
What was their attempt?
Well, you can now knock over a fuel station.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have seen this, yeah. Okay.
On one of the levels.
Yeah, and one wall can be destroyed. Ooh.
That's not what COD's about, though.
No.
COD's more of an arena shooter to me.
Yeah. I just found it funny that they made a big deal about it.
It's weird how how nowadays the equivalent of Quake 3 is running around tiny maps, with everyone with assault rifles.
With regular ass military weapons.
Yeah.
Railguns and shit.
It's weird. But that's what it is, really, isn't it? It's an arena shooter kind of now.
Yeah, that's one reason why I like Call of Duty more, is because it is basically like an old school arcade shooter.
Yeah. But why not just play Unreal Tournament? What happened to those games?
Well, the last one was Nexus, wasn't it? The last real arena shooter,
I guess,
that I can think of. And that was actually pretty good. It was just way too fast. Way too fast. No, actually, that's a lie. Shoot Mania, I suppose, is the last one.
No, that's not even the same game, though. That's not really an arena shooter. That's like a zone control.
I don't know. Get some of the game types are more traditional, but
it doesn't have. It's like weaponry is the main important thing, and the weaponry in Shoot Mania is weird, even when you have different options, which isn't that often.
I mean, Nexus was kind of cool, but it was too fast and too lethal for me to work very well. For me to be able to play it. The people that could play it and were doing really well, that's impressive. Seriously, that's a hell of a skill. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of connection now where people just see those games and they're like, oh well, that's something I can relate to more. Whereas before it was just like, oh holy crap! Have you seen the flashiness of this gun? It shoots pink shit everywhere. I don't know.
Well, because they were
maybe that doesn't
abstract.
appeal anymore. Yeah.
But to be fair, I played a lot of Gotham City Imposters. That game is freaking awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen you play that. That does look pretty cool, actually.
It is really awesome. I love that game.
What's the deal with that game, then?
It is one of my favourite shooters in a long time. Really good fun.
I don't know much about Gotham City Imposters.
Well, it's free to play, so give it a go.
It's a sort of class-based. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's just class-based team shooter, really. There's not a crazy amount to say more than that, but except for the fact that some of the abilities you can get are somewhat bonkers. Some of the humor is pretty cool, and it just looks like it plays really quite well. If you know what I mean, just not necessarily gimmicky, but it almost feels like the game that Brink should have been, except without the parkour.
Well, with the parkour, just it's not parkour; it's like jump pads and shit.
Yeah. Except it's not like the same level of class-based craziness that Brink had. I was like, oh, you need an engineer to do this, and you need a thingy to do that. But
it's a very simple game.
Yeah.
And so you still have to wonder why Kippers doesn't like Team Fortress. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with Team Fortress is I found it impossible to kill people. Like, they just don't die.
Yeah, I guess in Team Fortress people do have a shit lot of health.
Lethality is real low in TF, actually. Surprisingly low.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, that's why I like games like Gotham City Imposters, because you can kill people when you relatively easily. Like Quake, although you have a lot of health in Quake, it's quite easy to understand why people die and stuff in that game.
I think I prefer a balance. Like, Quake 3 is still almost perfect for that.
Yeah,
Halo is pretty goddamn good at that sort of middle ground as well. That's why I attached to Halo, I think, is because I like that. I like that feeling of if stuff goes real bad, there's a chance I can get out.
Yeah.
In some
Halo
daring
is
escape.
Probably the best example of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that feeling when you've done like a skin of your teeth escape, and you're just like, oh, how the shit did I get away with that?
Yeah.
And like Halo is probably the best for that ever.
And you're never going to escape in COD. You're just dead, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
You can get super lucky sometimes, but it's like not very likely at all to ever happen. Like you can sometimes turn on them and get a lucky headshot or something, but never really going to happen.
That's pretty much how every escape turns out. It's like, oh, I just headshotted 2 guys in a row, and I know I was on no health.
Yeah.
So, whew, that was lucky.
It's more, yeah. That's the thing with Call of Duty. It's more luck getting away than actual skill.
Mm.
In Halo, you can actually use a bit of skill to get away.
Yeah, if you've got some ingenious route or
really clever use of grenades or something.
Yeah, it's We never played Halo enough. God damn it, it's really good.
I still prefer Halo Reach.
Halo 4 is more
okay. You have to be more specific than that.
Yeah, I know. I really like. Both. To be honest, I'm struggling to think of a Halo multiplayer I didn't enjoy a lot. Like 2, 3, Reach, and 4 are brilliant. They're just really, really good.
I like Reach.
All in slightly different ways.
I did play quite a bit of Reach online. It was quite unusual for me.
Perhaps we need to do more of that. There we go. Saladcast party. Let's play some Halo.
I'm up for some Halo. I haven't played that in ages.
Play some goddamn Team Fortress. At least we all own that game.
That's true. I guess Destiny is the successor for that stuff, right?
Well, it's not really the same thing.
It's not going to have a... Well, I guess it might have some kind of deathmatch option.
Probably, yeah, that's the thing that confused me about that game, because they said it's got competitive side of it.
We haven't seen it. But...
No, we haven't seen anything of it. And how is it going to work? Is it going to be a separate thing completely, where you have, like a class thing like you do in Halo 4 or whatever? Or is it going to be based on your character that you've made in the actual main game?
I thought I heard someone suggest that maybe this was just some dumb thing that someone made up for a laugh, but I thought I heard someone suggest that it would be like inside the world of Destiny, there'd basically be consoles that your character would play, and then that would be the multiplayer.
Right.
So it'd be like playing Halo inside Destiny, just on a fake console in the game.
Well, a bit like how Halo 4's multiplayer is those stupid training ops.
Yeah.
Sounds quite interesting.
Just a dumb excuse to have it not be relevant to your main character, I guess.
I never did play those Spartan ops.
It's because I refuse to, and you won't do it by yourself.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be co-op, so
maybe.
They were kind of boring, though.
Yeah, so I've heard, but it kind of, Zach and I really got into Firefight quite badly at one point, so it's
because that was interesting.
But this is
Firefight is cool because it's obviously like you can work to get better high scores and stuff, whereas.
And invent tactics to cope with.
Well, I guess, but these might be, if we set them difficult enough, there may need to be tactics to progress, like a story.
Yeah, but it'd probably just be regular Halo tactics.
Maybe, yeah.
Not like the dumb Firefight tactics we had to come up with.
God, it was so crazy. It's so hard as well.
Yeah.
Firefight's unbelievably difficult. To get the targets that it tries to make you get, anyway.
Yeah.
It's insane. Damn, all these games I now want to play. Fuck you guys. It's like, I can't play anything because Xbox One will be coming out next week.
Oh no.
And I have stuff to finish.
Oh no. So, shall we move on to you? What have you been playing?
If Kips is done.
Alright.
Alright then.
Okay.
So, I've been playing a lot of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I noticed.
I've put in about 11 hours into it now.
You must be quite a way through then.
Yeah, I reckon I'm about two-thirds in. Maybe a bit more than that. Kippers, I know you've played it, and so I'm at the endurance, if that helps you.
Yeah.
But,
how's it treating you?
It's positive. It's a really good game. Has to be said. It is just generally a good game.
That's quite positive.
It's really
yeah. It's good in the kind of way that I'm not very good at articulating. It's like the gameplay elements for it it's an interesting mishmash of some Metroidvania style components, like so the way Lara gets new abilities and stuff like that to enable her to traverse the world is a bit Metroidy, and that's kind of cool. That's a nice direction for the series. The feel of the island in terms of its aesthetic is really well put together. The gunplay and all of that stuff is not. It's not mind blowing, but it's pretty good. It's well constructed.
Sort of and the set 2 level.
The set pieces. There's a lot of Uncharted-esque style sort of action sequences that are pretty cool.
Yeah,
and well made.
And you keep control during them, I hope, Uncharted style.
For the majority of them, there's a couple of moments where you don't have control, but most of it is you're got some sort of quick time event perhaps to do. There's not many of those, but there's the odd occasion where it just prompts you, and then you get some gruesome death scene if you fail.
Awesome. Well, that's classic Lara Croft, isn't it?
A couple of them are horrible. A couple of them are really nasty.
Crunch.
But she never seems to scream dramatically enough for those. It was the one thing that The Last of Us did really well. If you died in The Last of Us, it was just oh, that's not good. Whereas in this one, she's just kind of she's in a horrible situation. Visually, it's horrible, but she's just and graphically, just the I'm playing the PC version, and the PC version they've pushed it quite a way. Let's say you can turn on a lot of effects if you want them. It pushes. It's on max settings. My system can't handle it. So that's i7 with 670 graphics card. It's too much for it. If I push everything up, it's the frame rate drops too much for me to too much for me to be happy with it. But there are some effects that it'll allow you to go quite far because it will enable things like geometry tessellation, which that's one of the things I don't run because it does give me significant slowdown, and it's not actually that noticeable, the difference it makes. It's I've gone and looked close at some of the rocky outcrops and stuff, and there will be more polygons and stuff on some of the landscaping if you turn it on.
Or seemingly more polygons.
No, you can see them.
Okay.
It's it's geometry tessellation, so it's making more polygons based on some algorithm.
Right.
So it's for the most, it does look nice, but it's barely noticeably nicer. So I turn that off. But I do play with the hair effect on because it's awesome.
Yeah, I heard that was good.
It's really nice.
Okay,
it's impressive stuff. It does occasionally tard out because it's physics.
Yeah.
It looks completely bonkers at times.
Okay.
But it's pretty clever because I think how it handles is when you're in. It works a lot better when you're playing the game normally. It kind of suffers during cutscenes, because I think what happens is when you're playing in the normal perspective and it's only rendering a fraction of the hairs, so it's rendering enough for the distance away that the hair is for it to still look good. But then when you get a close up, it's rendering a lot more hair, and it's working out the physics for a lot more hair. So you can have a significant frame drop when you doing a close up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really nice tech. It's called Tress FX, which made me wonder if it was in some way related to Tresemme, but that's where the name came from. But no, I really like it, and as I say, visually it's really cool, and it's also NVIDIA 3D ready. So I've been playing a large quantity of it in 3D. To be honest, I think the 3D ready label is perhaps a bit incorrect because there are some significant effects that just go totally wrong.
Okay. Dirt 3 style.
Quite a lot of the water is bad in 3D. It just doesn't work. And there's a reasonable amount of water in the game. So that's kind of a problem. And that's really the only real 3D problem, but it's just, you see it a lot. There's occasional bits where some trees in the distance will only render in one eye, and some of the graffiti you see around the island indicating the optional tombs will only appear in one eye. So it's got a few bizarre faults. It's that one doesn't make sense because surely that's a texture. It's why is it trying to do a shader effect on a texture or something that fucks up? And it's so that's kind of odd. But for the most part, it's really good in 3D. It's awesome. It's really nice, especially during the major action scenes. I have to drop it to 720 when I'm playing in 3D. I can't run it in 1080 like that. But when you've got a major action scene and stuff's exploding everywhere and it's coming at the screen, it's It's really good. It's one of those things that makes me glad I bought the 3D kit after all, because there haven't been many examples where it's been worth it.
Euro Truck.
Yeah. Suppose that isn't pulling many shader effects to fuck it up, really, is it? So that's probably quite a good one.
It sounds awesome, actually. I mean, I do have any problems with the typical because there was a lot of hoo-ha when it came out about them like their story stuff and them like trying to find a way to justify like the weirdness of the character murdering everyone and all that.
Well, kind of segue into the bad. The story is terrible.
Okay.
And the writing is terrible. It's bad. It is nothing but bad.
Just the dialogue just is bad as well?
The dialogue is unbelievable. The character voicing is terrible.
Okay.
Generally. Okay, it's not terrible, but it's not great. Some characters are terrible, but it's just a completely unbelievable set of characters and a completely unbelievable script. It's like, it does the Tomb Raider, and spoiler alert, it does the Tomb Raider thing of being somewhat fantastical. Like, something weird happens, and as far as I know, there's no fucking dinosaurs, but, you know. But it is, the story is it's not worth it. There's a section, where, major spoiler alert, a member of the Endurance dies, and his lover kind of is going, "It's all your fault, Lara, that we're here. You caused this." And she's like, "It's not my fault. It's none of this." And she's like, "He died doing what he wanted to do," and all this kind of crap. And she's just like, "Yeah, you're right. Moving on." And it's her fucking like lover and stuff like that. They're just like, you'd be totally torn up and totally fucked. And she's like, "Yeah, you're right.
Yep, fine.
All right, let's deal with this."
Oh god,
it's just dumb. It's just really dumb. I don't. Lara is just. There's a moment. I think the game structure doesn't help one moment in the story as well, because you're finding this stuff around that kind of fills in some of the backstory. But I think even if you weren't doing that, there's a moment where Lara goes, "Oh, I need to do this," and you're just awesome. Like, "Yeah, I figured that out 7 hours ago."
Oh dear.
It's really dumb. So
because in Uncharted, like the story is the overarching story is sort of it's good, but it's sort of dumb, but in a good way. But like the dialogue,
it's held together by very moment to moment.
Funny.
Yeah. I mean, that's why The Last of Us still works, despite my problems with its like perhaps lack of big narrative. It's like the scene to scene stuff is really good, and it's just it's a real disappointment when you put it next to the actual quality of most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, I expect more from stuff now, especially like big titles like this. I can't just let it go if they're trying to be all dramatic and stuff, because it's not very tongue-in-cheek. It's not very, just laughs at itself very much. It's quite self-serious. And I think that's its biggest downfall, is that maybe some of this stuff wouldn't come off so bad if it was having a bit of a laugh with the player. But it's just not.
It's a shame because Tomb Raider, I mean, because Indiana Jones isn't that serious, really, and like Tomb Raider should be less serious than Indiana Jones, really.
Well, Tomb Raider's always been bonkers, and it's never been serious, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun in a kind of mental way if you look back at like Tomb Raider 2 or something. And they could easily revive that kind of style. It has a style, definitely, like an inherent kind of Tomb Raider feel that they seem to have just jettisoned for the sake of making something, gritty or whatever.
I mean, I don't even think that the Ludo narrative dissonance that people has been, it was really slammed for by the critics. Like how Lara suddenly, "Oh, I've killed a deer. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh wait, there's 6 other deers in this forest. Kill them all!"
Yeah, but that's just games, though, isn't it?
Dramatic echo.
Yeah.
But it's like that's not
the big problem.
It didn't feel like that big a deal. I mean, yeah, it's kind of played up a little bit by the game, but it's just in the grand scheme of the game's problems. It's not really notable.
But you say it's a really good game, like enjoyable.
Yeah, sure. I'm really enjoying the gameplay elements of it. Like it does this, it does the classic thing where there's like hidden crap like all over the areas, but it's actually kind of interesting to figure out how to get to some of them. They do relatively simple environmental puzzles, but they're pretty frequent. And the traversal through the world is pretty intuitive. It's not. It's kind of they have this like almost like detective vision state you can go into, so you can see the objects that you can interact with, which is useful. It's weird. I mean, I think some of the animation is janky, but because they probably don't. I don't know. It looks like the kind of animation that perhaps wasn't mocapped. It's somewhat like the transitions between animations sometimes look a bit jumpy. So it's not Uncharted quality. That kind of stuff.
No,
not even close. But
that stuff needs a big investment, doesn't it? So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it. She does some neat animations in places, but they're just not as slick, and they're noticeably not as slick as Uncharted and stuff like that. And Uncharted is the obvious comparator here because it's, it just is. So yeah, it's weird. It's an enjoyable game, but it's really let down by its own attitude, I think.
Right? I can see that. Yeah. It's just
it would have been better if the endurance crew had all died at the start. Let's put it that way. Okay. It was just Lara. It just would have been a better game. It would have changed the story completely, but whatever.
That seems like it's needed anyway. So
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, as I say, still enjoying it. It's a good. It's if this is the gameplay style they're going to go for in the next few entries, then yeah, stick to it. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just hire a writer.
Yes.
Hire a good writer.
Okay.
I have to say, I really enjoyed the game as well.
Yeah, I remember you saying. I think I talked about it after. I got your impressions from when you were going through it. Do you have the same narrative problems that I do, or
did you just not remember any of the story again?
Yeah, restreaming at the time
from the ship were really like I don't know how far you are. I can't think where this bit is, but the dude with the glasses,
Whitman,
yeah.
The typical sort of somewhat
playthrough.
Lara suspects him for being an asshole. He, spoiler alerts, I guess. Like he's been acting suspiciously from the start, and so the last time I saw him, the last two times I saw him, one of which he kind of leads the bad guy to us, and the second time he just kind of turns up suspiciously, like saying "Help me, help me," but there's no one following him.
There's another dude with glasses, though, isn't there? Who fancies Lara?
Alex? Are you thinking of the computer guy?
Alex, yeah.
He's wearing an escape T-shirt the entire time, like with the escape key.
Yeah, what's he doing in your story at the moment?
He's lost in the endurance. He went to get some stuff from it, and he hasn't come back. Okay. So
I won't talk about that bit yet.
All right, then. So that's bad, is it?
It's not bad, no. It's just I found that whole bit kind of like bizarre.
Okay. Is everything bizarre already?
Like you'll see, it's really cheesy. You'll see what I mean when you get to it.
And I love the fact that they've had to do 2 airborne escapes from the island, and even after the first one failed, and they already worked out why it failed, the second one was going to fail, and they did it anyway. I have no memory of what happened.
Rob's cat is infused, apparently. Don't know if that got picked up on the recording.
Yeah, so that's Tomb Raider. I'm going to hopefully finish that in the next week.
Okay, cool.
Get that out of the way before the Xbox onslaught happens.
Yeah. Before the onslaught.
What else have I been playing? Not a crazy deal. I did go back to Magic a little bit after I kind of said I thought I was done with it. Did I talk about Plane Chase last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe. I can't remember.
I spoke to Zach about it. But
it's
a long fucking game type, and the characters it puts you against in that first Plane Chase level are right bastards. So, I've kind of just sort of said, well, fuck that game type.
Yeah, fair enough. I think you did mention it before.
Yeah, the AI is just annoying. It kind of gangs up on you, and it's not so great. But I did play a 2-headed giant game with myself, it's kind of annoying because you can't just be both players. You have to set up a second player to do it. So I was controlling one deck with the mouse and keyboard and one deck with a controller, because it's supposed to simulate local multiplayer or something like that. It doesn't let you just be both halves. But I used the crazy life gain deck and the white weenie deck and just owned everything. It was really satisfying. That life gain deck is bonkers if you end up playing it well, because it's like you just gain a shit ton of life, but then it has one creature in it that has power and toughness equal to the amount of life you have. So by the end of the game, I was on over 100 life and had an over 100 creature that just decimated everything because I gave it trample. And
okay,
it was like, well, that was quite easy.
Just literally trampled everything. Awesome.
Yeah.
They blocked with everything, and you just trampled everything.
Pretty much, yep. I just used the weenie deck as defense for the entire time, so I couldn't really take much damage and was gaining more of it. And then this card turned up, and it's like, oh, well, now I win. Yeah, so I don't know. I might go through some of the revenge campaign because there's an achievement for getting to the end of that. Maybe, don't know. I remember the revenge campaign was a bit of a shitter in the last one because obviously in the revenge campaign all the decks have their cards unlocked, for the AI opponents. And it's a more refined, more a better card layout, I guess. Like the combination, the number of each card they have is much better than the ones you fight in the normal campaign. So, although I've now probably unlocked quite a lot of cards for the white weenie deck, and I have been trying to alter it, it's like not sure the weenie is going to be effective against some of these harder opponents, but so I may be screwed on that front as well.
Yeah.
So I may have the same problem I did last game, and just like once you've done the main campaign, it just kind of seems to start losing its appeal.
Yeah. It makes sense.
And the challenge, I tried one of the challenges, but even that first fucking challenge in this game is real hard. I couldn't get it. It's like, I always thought the challenges were an interesting idea, but they're just a bit too hard to spot. Like they're not. You just get bored trying to figure it out.
Is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool, but yeah, they do get a bit.
I couldn't do. I didn't spend long, admittedly, trying to do the first one, and I was just like, oh, I remember why I didn't like this, and moved on. So yeah, I did a bit of that. Played a bit of COD with Kips.
Mm-hmm.
I did play one race on Forza 2.
Forza 2. I dug that out a couple of weeks ago.
Because I kind of want to see partly as how far we've come since then.
Yeah.
Because I was always quite impressed with that game at the time, and it's like, oh, we've come quite a long way.
Yeah. Apparently,
even in this generation, it's like, it still plays really well, even with a controller. Like it's a real nice feeling game.
Yeah, I went around the Nürburgring a few times with the controller.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I probably want to do that next because that's the last arcade race I've got left to do on that game. So it's on my save, so I might try that. But it's fun and that kind of makes me feel a lot, and that's probably what triggered me to be more excited about Forza 5 than I was before because I kind of got into it for a bit during this play session. It's like, oh yeah, I remember exactly all these hooks, all these reasons why I want to do it. The need to try and perfect every corner, otherwise you fuck everything up. And of course, Forza 2 didn't have the rewind feature, so you had to be perfect, which may actually screw some of that feeling up. I don't know because I didn't own Forza 3 or 2 or 4. So maybe the rewind feature kind of just does put everything in easy mode. But if I can be disciplined not to use it, then maybe some of that will be back. But yeah, the car modeling doesn't actually look that great in that game compared to like modern car models and stuff. And it's and even the UI looks dated. It's weird because
it does.
I didn't think that would happen, but there's just bits of how simple things like how boxes are laid out and the font they use just makes it look old. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I've actually been at work. I've been testing my app on iOS 7, and then there's an old 4 with iOS 5.1 on it, and it is weird. I've only had iOS 7 for like a month or however long it's been, and like the old stuff now looks really old. It's really weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
kind of strange. You can do that if you go back through Xbox's history and go and view NXE or the Blades or something, and just be like, "Whoa, okay, that wasn't actually that long ago."
Yeah, exactly. The Blades weren't that long. I mean, the Blades were pretty cool when you first saw them. I don't know, but now they look.
Yeah, I mean, they're slightly practically a nightmare, but
yeah,
and a bit clustered. You know, a bit cluttered. Sorry, not clustered. I keep thinking of clusterfuck whenever I want to say cluttered.
Well, even the original Xbox crazy dashboard of Doom with the rotatey thing, that was pretty cool.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of worked. That's what I mean. Those old OS menus were fine to be crazy because they didn't have to do much.
Yeah. There was a whole thread about the GameCube turning on animation on Reddit the other day, and how if you held down different buttons, you could get different sound. And if you held down different buttons and you had 4 different controllers plugged in and you held down buttons on all of them, you got another one.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, there's some super secret one.
I remember if you held down the Z button on the intro, it did lots of squeaky noises. It's like,
that's the one.
Boom.
That's the one. I think if you hold down Z on all 4 controllers that are plugged in, you get something different.
Oh, cool! I didn't know about that one.
Anyway, there's all kinds of craziness.
Boom.
But then when you didn't have the disc in or you had it set up, I always liked the sound when it rotated. Yeah. That was brilliant.
I swear we've done this that noise on a podcast before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, never mind. UIs. UIs are the past when they didn't actually have much eye to do.
I think that's pretty much it, really. It's not.
Cool,
I've been quite busy again.
We're probably running out of time, aren't we?
You played Civ 5.
Oh yeah, no, I did play. Oh yeah, thank you. I played quite a shit ton more of Civ 5.
Yeah, and you somehow forgot all about it.
Yeah, I was playing that this morning.
Yeah, that too.
I still really like that game.
Okay, good.
Like the Egyptian, I did take Stockholm in the end after all that stuff I talked about last time. But I didn't annihilate them. I just took over their capital. Right. So I could, if I wanted to, take their remaining cities. But I thought, fuck it, they're of no value to me. They can be. They're not gonna fight me anytime soon.
I need to get involved in some Civ 5.
Yeah,
it's so addictive. It really is. It's just the thing is if I feel like I'm doing well, then you just don't want to stop. It's like I think I'm second. I'm second on the scoreboard right now, so I think I'm going to lose this to the Arabians now, unless I can pull some science out my ass. But it's you just get so into it. Like I played it last night until about 6ish, and then I woke up this morning going, I need to progress my civilization. It's bad. I just woke up going, I need to do this. Yeah, it's really good. Seriously good. Even if I don't fully understand the faith element of the game, really.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know.
It's just kind of sort of there, but I haven't quite understood its point yet. Yeah, there's not a lot much more to add, really. It's just, it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
I really want to play that sometime. I'm going to have to get that.
But you have to buy it.
Unfortunately.
Now, though.
Yeah. Well, no, it's 20 quid plus 20 quid for the expansion, which I can't.
Yeah, I guess it's not. Steam sale.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah. Yes, okay. Zegri? Hello?
It's not my name. I should not respond to that.
You just did.
No, you responded by not responding.
You responded with an outburst.
Yeah, it was quite loud, apparently, according to the waveform.
Okay. Zach, what have you been playing?
Well, related to what we've been playing, there was some news that we didn't do.
Oh, late news.
Yep. They opened up the Humble store.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So now you can get Humble Bundle games, but any time for some amount of discount and 10% to charity.
Yeah, I mean they're not like the Humble Bundle. It's not pay what you want for all of them all the time. It's like they do have a fixed price, and they're reasonably priced. They're not Steam sale priced, but
well, some of them were.
Yeah, I mean they go through phases.
Yeah.
There will be like
Apparently.
there will be like these sale spikes, but then
So I picked up Prison Architect, but I haven't played that yet, and I'm probably not going to for a while. That was really just because it was cheaper. It was cheaper than it was on Steam in any Steam sale that I'd seen, and I was like, well, I mean, it's only going to go up surely once it's not alpha.
Yeah,
once it becomes real price.
There's still a lot of stuff missing from that, isn't there? So it's not complete by any means.
So I might maybe try that at some point. But the other thing I picked up for like virtually no money was the Swapper game.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, well, it's a puzzle game, I guess. Puzzle platformy, making clones of yourself to stand on buttons game.
Do you finish it? Or?
Yep, I finished it in one sitting because I don't know, it wasn't that long.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it was like 4 hours, but there was maybe like an entire half hour where I just stood there at one puzzle trying to fucking figure it out because I couldn't. It was super easy for most of the game, and then there was like 2 puzzles right at the end, which I just sat there for fucking forever, which was really annoying. And it was like,
isn't the story in that kind of bleak or?
I don't know if it's bleak. It's sort of obviously it's weird what story there is. Well, it's like the story isn't really related to you so much. It's just like you're just observing it, really.
Oh.
Although what of the story is related to you doesn't make any sense anyway. So fuck it, I guess.
Okay.
Although the ending, well. It's like I don't really want to spoil everything. Like talking about the story will be hella spoilers, and the ending obviously hella spoilers.
Just the impression of it.
Well, no, but like what happens at the end? I guess I can sort of spoil it without spoiling it. But like at the end, it's the only time it happens in the game. But you have a choice where it's like push one.
Dial an ending.
Well, it's like push one button to use the swapping device to basically transfer your consciousness into this guy's body and then escape the planet, or push the other button to just stay there.
Oh.
So I'm not going to be a bastard. I'll push the other button and let that guy leave. And then then for some reason it just like it could have just faded out at that point, and that would have been much better. But what it actually does is like now you have to suicide jump off this cliff. It's like, that's not what I chose.
Oh, weird.
I chose to just stand there and let him leave. I didn't choose to have to commit suicide immediately afterwards.
Alright, that's kind of weird.
So yeah, that's the ending of that game, I guess. But I think my main problem with it is I had a weirdly difficult time retaining like the mechanics. Because I was thinking about it, it's like when you were talking about Portal 2, it's like you can put portals on the white surfaces and you can't on the black surfaces. Yeah. And the emancipation grid stops you from shooting through it. And that's basically the same mechanics as this game. It's like, when it's blue, you see, I've already forgotten. When it's blue, you can't create a clone, but you can swap through it. If it's red...
When you say swap, do you mean move to one of the clones?
Yeah, swap into one of the other clones.
Okay.
And then if it's red, you can make clones, but you can't swap through it. And then if it's purple, you can't do either.
It sounds a little bit like the sort of limiting mechanics from Snapshot.
Yeah, that too. But I had like a really weird time trying to like retain that information. So when I was just like one of these puzzles that I got stumped on for ages, it's just like a platform, and then like there's a bit of red light, a bit of blue light, a bit of purple light, and various different areas of it, and I just couldn't like hold the information in my mind of what I could do where.
Oh, so when you say light, it is actually like a beam of light,
yeah,
and then
in some cases you can turn them on or off or block them,
or use shadow to. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Well, they don't really use the shadow thing very much
because that could have been real interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I just couldn't retain it. It was really dumb. And I was like, oh wait, I can put a guy there because it's red. Even though I guess it's because it's red.
You just sort of think, oh, I can't do anything with that.
It's like red is bad, and blue for some reason is also bad in a different way.
Red is the murder zone.
So yeah, I played the whole of that game. So that was pretty good.
Recommend?
Well, yeah, I guess if you like puzzly things.
Recommend it? Yeah, I guess.
If you like puzzly things. And I'm
you
not
do
sure
like puzzly things.
Well, yeah, so I recommend it.
For those who like
that's more positive. There we go.
And I'm not sure whether it is actually meant to be like claymation style or whatever. That graphical style is really weird. Mainly because everything is just blurry all the time. So it kind of hides what style it actually is. So I can't see whether it's actually claymation because most of the time it's just like weirdly blurry all over them. all over.
So it distorts away from
and also the voice acting
his voices. Oh, I didn't picture it as a game that would have.
Well, for the story, you don't have a voice, of course, naturally, because as I said, the story has got virtually nothing to do with you. But then, like the other people who talk, well, the other person. I mean, there's the station announcements, which I guess is automatically like bland, like just stating things. But the other person's voice acting seems to be like, I can't tell whether it's actually just kind of bad or whether it's actually sort of intentionally meant to be kind of bad because of story reasons, I guess. Because it's like you're not meant to be able to like interpret that person as well, like their emotional state or whatever from their voice. So they're all sort of fairly monotone most of the time. And I'm not sure whether that's just bad voice acting or whether that was actually intentional.
Right. Hello. Rescue me.
Yep, pretty much. And then obviously the other thing I played for way too long was tons of goddamn Pokemon again. I finished it, and then it turned out not actually very much changes to that after the end of the game this time.
Oh, really?
It's kind of disappointing. But then, even though I said I wasn't going to, just in the same way as even though I said I was never going to get this game and then I got it, I said last time on the podcast that I wasn't going to try breeding a perfect Pokemon, and then I was like, well, fuck it, let's try it. Because it turns out it's not actually as difficult as I thought it was. Or,
okay. Why is that?
From what I've been reading, potentially it might just be that it's actually a lot easier in this game than all the other previous ones. Because, I mean, there's a guy you can talk to who will just tell you if one of the stats is maxed. And then they had this before, but I didn't realise that this was sort of, it's not actually what it's for as such. It's like it's like a thing that you can use, but conveniently matches. There's a thing where you can mark Pokemon with like 6 different icons, and then if you're like searching through your boxes, you can use a search to filter by that icon.
Oh, okay, cool.
But coincidentally, each Pokemon has 6 stats. So obviously what you actually use those marks for is when you found one with the maximum in one of the stats, you mark it off.
I see.
And then you know what you're breeding.
Genius.
So then you just basically just keep breeding them together until you it's like it used to be, I think why it is easier now is because there's a new item. Because it used to be you just breed them together, and the way breeding works is it picks 3 stats from either of the parents, and then randomly generates the other 3. So obviously if you had like 2, the more maximum stats the parents have, the better chance you have of passing them down to the child. But now there's an item you can have them hold that makes that 5 of the 6 stats get passed down. So it makes it much, much easier to actually get it to pass down the good ones. Because then you're only ever missing 1. But except not, because it's still random. So it could randomly pick one of the ones it passes down could be the one that you don't want, or whatever. So ideally you're getting down to like the more that they have maxed out on each parent, then the more likely it is that even if it picks from either of the parents, it will still pick the maximum because they're both maximum.
I see, yeah.
So then eventually you breed what I guess you call a perfect Pokemon, where it's like 5 of the 6 stats are maxed. Because
can you see that 5 of the 6? I thought the dude only told you.
Like, no, he tells you.
Does he tell you about each stat?
Well, he tells you. He tells you every stat that's the same. He tells you the highest stats, and then if more than one of them is exactly the same, he tells you all of them. But then obviously because it's actually the maximum, then you know. Then you know it's at the maximum, and every other one he mentions then is also at maximum.
I see.
So you can just do it that way. So then when you get to 5 out of 6, that's like as much as you can do, because you've got that item that passes down 5. So that's about as good as you can guarantee. But theoretically, you can make like the ultimate flawless Pokemon, which has 6 out of 6, except that takes a fucking long time. Because what you're basically doing then is you're breeding 2 5 out of 6s together and hoping that it passes down all 5 of them. And then the one that's randomly generated just has to randomly generate a maximum.
Yeah.
Which is a 1 in 32 shot. So don't bother trying to do 6 out of 6. Also, 6 out of 6 is almost, you're never going to need it, because you almost never need attack and special attack. Because you're either going to focus on one or the other.
True.
But are there people with teams full of those perfect dudes?
Well, there might be now. I accidentally made one.
Oh, cool.
I wasn't trying for it. It just turned out on one of my 5 of the 6s turned out to be a 6 out of 6. I was like, well, that's weird. Not going to use it. Don't need that. Don't need regular attack. Only special attack.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did that for a while, and it turns out, as I discovered, it wasn't that difficult. And then maybe I'll try and make a shiny Pokemon as well. Now,
did the fact that it was easier in general, did you learn that first, and that make trying this all out more appealing?
Sort of. I mean, I didn't really know that it wasn't this easy before.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that there was this new item that made it do the 5 stats thing, but I didn't know that you were so boned. Because I mean, and it's also kind of weird if you think about it in a competitive light, because in previous generations, the best you could get was what I'd call 3 out of 6, with 3 maximum stats, because you could only pass down 3 at a time.
Sure.
So now you can get maximum on 5 out of 6. So now all competitive Pokemon are going to be just better.
Yeah, it's going to take that sort of random element out, isn't it? For mostly. Oh, that seems to be this whole game's approach, though, isn't it? Perhaps make it more appealing.
Yeah, it's just exposing more of the systems.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that and bred up some. Actually, I did more than one in the end. I just was well, the thing is that really, because you can't breed a Ditto, obviously. And Ditto is the thing that can breed with everything.
Britto.
You can't breed a Ditto, and Ditto can breed with everything. So if you could have a perfect Ditto, that would be the best, because you'd be able to breed it with anything, whatever. And in previous generations, the people had done that by hacking, right? Well, not hacking as such, exploiting the random number generator in the classic way, where it's I caught this Ditto, and it just happened to have all random maximum stats.
But then how would they know in the older games?
Well, there's ways to determine it. It's you can do it by maths, basically, in the older games. But now, so you can't really get a perfect Ditto to breed with. So you basically want to make a perfect Pokemon in every egg group. For every egg group is different Pokemon that can breed with each other.
Why does egg group sound wrong?
It's and then the egg groups are so weird anyway. The egg groups sort of... well, because
egg group.
It's in the Pokedex, you can sort the Pokedex by shape of Pokemon, where it's
you always could, couldn't you?
Things that are on all 4s are grouped together. But that's not actually the same as egg group exactly. Even though that would make total sense as a thing. It's egg group is just monster, and it's this is things that are vaguely like Venusaur, I guess. Sort of all 4s, but also monstery. But then that sort of makes sense. But then you get the egg group of Water 1 and Water 2 and Water 3.
That sucks. Yeah.
Well, that's just because there's so many fucking water Pokemon.
Right.
But you could have made it the jellyfish group or something.
Yeah, give them names.
So yeah, I was trying to breed up a 5-star for each of the egg groups, just for the hell of it, so I can make anything I want maximum relatively easily. But then I got distracted by trying to make a shiny, which is annoying.
You can make shiny Pokemon.
Well, you can get shiny Pokemon at random, and you could for quite a while in the previous games. But now it's you can if you're breeding a foreign Pokemon with one of yours, then that increases the chance of it coming out shiny. To 1 in 2,000 or something. So.
This is encouraging skin disorders.
Yep, basically genetic mutations.
I suppose it's no real different from dog breeding, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But then the trouble with that is, the trouble I've been having is that if you wanted to make a shiny Pokemon that didn't completely suck, if you wanted to get any of the maximum stats breeding going, you just have to get someone to trade you something with good stats. And unless you have someone in a foreign country who will do that for you, I've just been going on the trading post and being there's another one, I guess I'll take it. And it's all these have shit stats. Again.
So that's what you meant by foreign Pokemon?
Yeah.
That they actually come from a player in a foreign country?
Well, the trouble with that is it's not just foreign, it actually has to be a different language.
Oh, interesting.
So you can't trade with the US people, for example, because that doesn't count.
Oh, weird.
And also, nicely, if you trade for an actual foreign different language Pokemon, you get the Pokedex entry for it in the other language.
Does it then go, Pumiloof?
No, unfortunately, you don't get any foreign voice sound effects. But no, actually, I guess I haven't checked that. I suppose if you got a foreign Pikachu, but then Pikachu's the same.
Yeah, Pikachu doesn't change. Rondoodoo!
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that. Breeding and trading. That's all I've been doing. I haven't really been playing it so much. My team got through the Elite Four, and that was enough. Although my team very nearly got murderized on the Elite Four because it was the classic problem where there was just one fucker that just had Confused Ray.
Oh god!
And it destroyed virtually my entire team because they couldn't fucking not hit themselves. It was like 9 turns in a row they just injured themselves, and that fainted like 2 fucking of my team. I was just like, God damn it. And that was really the only problem I had with the Elite Four, that one fucker with Confused Ray.
Is there anything you can do to combat Confuse? Or
Not really, apart from switch out, I guess.
But then they come back confused.
Actually, I don't know if Confusion retains when you switch out. I can't remember whether it counts, because it's not a labelled status effect like Poison or Sleep or whatever. Those persist.
I see, yeah.
But I can't remember whether Confusion does actually persist, even though it's not labelled.
It might persist in the battle, but not out.
Well, no,
if you leave
obviously.
the battle. Yeah.
If you leave, it doesn't. So yeah, and the Elite Four was vaguely dramatic. It had like very fancy like rooms that you walk into, and it's like giant pillars of fire and waterfalls and shit.
Cool.
For the different types. Although it was a bit weird, like the types of the gym leaders. It's like water. Well, that's incredibly boring.
Yeah.
Fire. That's pretty goddamn boring. And then there was like steel and dragon, because fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, was it dragon or was it fairy? Oh, no, it was dragon.
Fairy dragons.
It was dragon because I had a fairy type, but I was just like, you're all dead.
Oh, right.
Because fairy is the counter to dragon now. So yeah, that's that game.
Anything else?
No, I guess not.
Just all Pokemon.
I played some TF2, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And I maybe saved a replay that was awesome. I can't. I was having a ridiculous game where I was playing as Pyro, and I was reflecting literally every rocket that was being fired at me, and it was just getting loads of reflect kills off all these soldiers.
Awesome.
And then I was like, does this server have replays enabled? Yes, it does. But did I save the life where all of that happened, or was that the previous life?
Oh.
So I don't actually know.
We'll have to put that on the cast if you find it.
Yeah, I'll upload it to my YouTube.
I suppose that's the other thing Zach and I played. Go watch us play Mario Party too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I watched that. Yeah.
More Final Fantasy coming.
Now I have that music in my head now for like probably the rest of the week. The one thing I missed from the whole thing was like, is Pirates the theme of the whole game, or is that just part?
No, it's just that level.
Oh right,
Yeah,
so you played one of the levels. Okay, how many boards are there?
Like
6
or 5.
Fucking heck. Okay,
I think you
5
start...
normal ones and then the unlockable boss one.
Yeah.
right. Quite a lot of content then, sort of.
Yep, there was for that old ass game, and quite a lot of mini games.
They didn't really ever got bigger, did they? Like each subsequent version was always about that size.
Yeah, because they didn't do the thing that we always wanted them to, and just
put all the games.
games.
Yeah, put all of the games in every version. Like Mario Party Anniversary Edition never came around or something. That's just got everything that's ever been made in it. That would be amazing.
That'd be nuts.
Possibly about the ones with the Wii controls.
That's quite a lot of them at this point, though.
The can opening game, especially.
Oh, yeah.
It worked sort of okay on the emulator there. It was
Yeah, it worked okay. There were a few glitches.
Yeah, it was a bit glitchy. They always.
But it's a reasonably good way of capturing it without having a proper way of capturing an N64.
Yeah.
That would be cool if we could capture all the random old games, though.
Man, we should totally play Mario Tennis.
Yeah, that's what I kept saying.
Mario Tennis is awesome. Anyway, yes, cool.
We might do some more of that N64 stuff.
Maybe
it's kind of.
Why? What else is like? You should do what's obscure that we played? It's not obscure, but you should do multiplayer San Francisco Rush or something.
Yeah, that was one of the things we were thinking about.
Yeah, I can. If I can improve my emulation of the Dreamcast version that I had, then that would be the better one because it looks slightly sharper and would be easier to see what the fuck is going on.
Well, or would it, I guess.
Actually, no. I guess if you're playing the emulated version, you'd be able to see it because it would be higher resolution. But even on the N64 one, but yeah, just like a few minutes of us flying around that stupid arena trying to flip.
And Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
there's another part of that incoming.
Yeah, of course. Are you about halfway
a part where we boned us, well, I boned us, I guess, right at the end, and then we're going to have to replay part of it.
Oh no! Oh well.
But we won't record that part.
Maybe. Yeah.
What do you mean maybe? We didn't save, so we're going to have to.
Oh, did you not?
No, I did deliberately.
Oh, I can't remember.
Never mind. I'll do that before the next recording starts.
It was like a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Rob can't remember shit. Dan, did you play anything?
Yeah, well, I carried on playing Grand Theft Auto, of course. Yep, there's a I did another heist, the sort of small town heist bank job in the top of the because I was saying that I was hoping that the characters would like get out into the countryside a bit more, and of course immediately after that, like there was a story event where it's like you two are like banished to the countryside now. So all countryside for a while for you guys.
Banished.
At least one guy is still in the city, but yeah, so that's been good from the story perspective and stuff. It's all very well done and acted and stuff, all that. Anyway, it was going to be a small town bank job, and it's like, oh, you do all these things to prepare for the heist, and it's like, oh, we're just going to break into this bank and steal some money. But then, of course, I hadn't expected it went totally mental and was insane. So I won't spoil it. Because they were talking about it on the Bombcast, I think, and not spoiling it, but yeah, and just saying, dude, that mission was awesome, and yeah, dude, that mission is mental. It's totally mental. So not what I was expecting from a small town bank job at all. It was quite a lot larger than that. And then some subsequent missions have been quite spectacular too. There was one where you had to steal something from a train. So you get Michael to go and get a boat, so he sods off to do that, and you drive a dirt bike, and then you drive it alongside the train, and then jump on top of the train, and then drive along to the front of the train, along this freight train.
On the top of the train?
Yeah, exactly. Steal the train, control it, and then it ends up blowing up on top of a bridge and like falling off into the water where Michael's waiting with the boat. And then you have to like sticky bomb the container to get the door open, and then it's totally mental.
That does sound bonkers.
Yeah, there's all kinds of craziness, helicopters, all kinds of madness. There was one mission where you had to fly a crop duster into the back of a giant, where you had to fly it around and below the radar of the military, so you had to fly super low. And then you had to fly up behind this giant cargo plane, smash into the cargo plane, like so that your wings fall off and you just go into the back. Because they opened up the back to shoot at you. So you like,
I see, yeah.
Slam in and then run up and kill everybody inside while there are like jeeps falling out the back of the thing past you, and then take control of it naturally, and then try and fly it and land it. But unfortunately, the military come along and blow you up. So then you have to parachute by running up to the end and jumping out of the back. Yeah. Anyway,
that's cool.
Total mental mission.
That sounds like Saints Row style.
Yeah, kind of Saints Row kind of mentality, but a little bit more believable. But still mental and still awesome.
A little bit.
only a tad more. Yeah.
I mean, there weren't any hookers involved, so
no, exactly, and no giant purple dildos. But not that I would put it past Trevor. He's quite mental. But yeah, so I'm enjoying the kind of transfer to the countryside. Although there have been some there's some slightly more boring Strangers and Freaks mission. There's like one which is like not that funny, which is a string of missions which are like border patrol, civilian border patrol, like amateurs or whatever, who are obsessed with getting rid of illegal immigrants. But the joke is that one of them doesn't speak English.
Weird.
Yeah, it's quite weird.
I'm not sure that's funny.
No, I'm not sure either.
As a concept.
No. So I wasn't sure about that. I mean, the missions are okay. They're just like, they tend to be like off-road driving a big Jeep and sort of chasing people and stuff, which is quite hard to do. So that's kind of fun, I guess, until you get turned around and you're like, oh, damn, I have to, catch up to them or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Gibbs,
yeah.
Are you still there, Gibbs? Because like you were playing this, weren't you? Did you get that far, or did you?
I finished it.
Right.
Months ago.
So you've done all this stuff, yeah.
Indeed.
I don't know how far I am through. Do you think by doing that, like that heist? That's like the small bank at the top of the map.
I can't really remember. I think you've still got quite a way to go.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, I'll report back on more of that next time.
Well, how many heists have you done?
Oh, it's quite a few now, I guess. 4 at least.
4?
I think.
He's probably got a couple. Probably 2/3.
Yeah, probably. Well, they started talking about
from
the
my
big
not
one
accurate
now.
knowledge.
They started talking about the big heist of the
big
Union
one.
Depository or whatever. So I imagine that'll be the end of the game. But there's probably a few more to do before then.
You know what will probably happen. The big heist will happen, and then there'll be some tail end story.
Probably, yeah, almost certainly. Anyway, so.
Oh snap! We need to go settle the score with this dude or something.
Yeah.
Then you kill him.
You're a fan of
walk away all smug.
Do you enjoy the game, Kippers?
Yeah, it was alright. It was quite good fun. I don't want to spoil like any of the end stuff, so I won't talk about it. But I can't really say much more. But it was quite good.
Cool. Okay. Good to know. Quite good. That's the.
I don't know. We kids have talked
the online
about it before.
stuff is the worst bit, though.
Yeah. I haven't played that.
It just doesn't work properly for me. I don't get the point of it at all.
They keep patching it, and they've added new content to the online, but I mean, it doesn't really appeal to me yet. I haven't really tried it, so yeah, I'll give it a bash sometime.
Did they let you just? I suppose can you just create a game similar to like the hacks that made GTA 4 sort of multiplayer, where you can just use the world as a sandbox and.
Hopefully, I mean, you can just run around in the world, which is effectively like a lobby for all the actual multiplayer missions.
I guess if you could private it off and put only people you know in and just cock about in it, then that's probably what you want from a GTA Online, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think I said last time that Eurogamer had some people playing Car Conkers with the giant helicopters.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds quite fun. Anyway, yes. Oh,
Kips and I talked about it at reasonable length, like off air and stuff, and like I'm not sure you're quite as enamored with it as Dan is, Kips. It's like as you say it's all right.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything amazing. It's just more of the same kind of stuff, basically.
Just bigger.
Yeah, I didn't really think it was all that great. Like there was a few problems with it at the start, like the aiming was kind of awkward, and the freaking reticule is almost impossible to see unless you change it.
Right.
Like it starts off as like a dot, but when you play it on when you're playing it on a couch or whatever, you can basically not see it.
Okay.
So I had to change it to like the one with the circle around the dot.
Yeah, but you can do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, but if you didn't know about that, you'd probably be like, "What the fuck? I can't see where I'm aiming."
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same size as the Max Payne dot or whatever. You probably have the same problem in Max Payne.
I played that on PC, so it wasn't so much of an issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's right in your face.
Yeah, exactly. I'm playing GTA 5 on my monitor, on my PC monitor, so I don't notice that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't really remember it, like how it played all that well, but I remember having found it quite difficult to get used to how it controlled for a little bit. Like the running around is a bit awkward at times.
Well, that's kind of classic, isn't it? But it's got a bit better. I mean, you get used to it, don't you? And then it doesn't matter after that.
Yeah, it was alright.
Cool. Okay.
That's like the most non-committal answer, isn't it? It's alright.
It's the same answer for Bioshock Infinite and all the other like games of the year contenders. It's alright.
Still, my best game of this year is probably Devil May Cry. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
It's high on my list.
Cool. That seems to be.
I've still got the DLC for that to play, which I
never tried the DLC.
Yeah, it's like I've got it. I've just not got around to playing it yet. But...
Right, how are we doing for time? Do we want to wrap this one up? Are we?
Yeah, we're overrunning.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for the Saladcast. Thank you to Rick for joining us this time round.
Hey, Kippers, do a plug.
Yeah, plug your streams.
Well, plug yourself. You're on the Saladcast. This is what guests are supposed to do. This is our 70 listeners are going to be so enthusiastic. This is what our guests are supposed to do, right?
Well, if you want to catch me playing all right games, you can catch...
and then forgetting what the story is.
Yeah, completely ignoring the story, but I interact with the chat, so there you go.
Hey, how's everyone doing out there in chat land? Everyone all right? Yeah.
Pretty much. You can come watch me at twitch.tv/DJKippling. Yeah.
Is Pixels Evolved still a thing?
It is. There's a community channel that we do as well called Pixels Evolved, twitch.tv/Pixels Evolved. There's about 12 casters that do shows on there, playing games and stuff. Pretty cool.
I mean, I haven't
Check
done
it
mine
out
for a long time now, but
No, you haven't.
I've been busy.
Yep, you have.
Excuses.
I'll be streaming lots of Xbox One when it comes out.
Great.
Naturally.
I'll look forward to that soon. And look forward to our crazy coverage of whatever the hell's going on next.
I'll probably be
Sweet.
making some videos, so if you guys want to put them on your YouTube channel as well, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there'll be more videos from us as well, I
Make
expect.
deal.
So we can, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
perhaps Zach and I need to just like invade your setup sometimes and go, right, show us this shit.
Indeed. You can always come around and record stuff here and that.
Indeed.
Okay then.
All right.
Right. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time on the Saladcast. Bye.
Ba, 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 ba.
Bye.
Boom.